225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Defensive tackle Chris Jones indicated on social media he's willing to continue his contract holdout from the Chiefs until Week 8, is willing to forfeit his weekly game check about $1 million because he can afford it. Coach Andy Reid said there has been no communication with Jones. Aaron Rodgers' blindside protector cleared to practice. Left tackle Dwayne Brown coming back from rotator cuff surgery, hoping to practice tomorrow. He won't play in Saturday's preseason finale when Rodgers is set to make his Jets debut. Saturday, important for Rodgers, his teammates, and coaches, points out ESPN NFL analyst Louis Riddick.
For Aaron, it's like, look, I'm going to give you a dry run of what to expect from me, and not just the players. As we were talking about this dynamic between him and Roberts, like they need to all see too. And when the game is on the line, I know it's preseason, I'm going to show you a little bit about what I expect from you when you're bringing the calls into me, calling timeouts, game management.
Robert Essen head coach Robert Saleh. Georgia running back Branson Robinson out for the season with a knee injury. Baseball, Mariners, winners of 8 straight, trail the White Sox 1-0, bottom third. Seattle, a game out of first in the American League West.
Long summer days call for extra hands. Hire fast with Indeed. Their hiring solution helps attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
In the heart of Beer City, USA, 2 men, 1 journey to create a sports show unlike any other. Unfiltered, raw, and honest. One of them played a soccer goalie opposite Ben Stiller. The other once scored 6 points on Steph Curry. These guys know their shit.
Let's go!
Tank Spencer, Jeremy Greene, the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets. Low prices, love the savings.
It is the Sportsocracy. This
you do
is
have to turn the
ESPN
microphone
Asheville.
on.
Hey, you know what? You've been
You got
in here.
your Reptar lunchbox. You're doing everything right, but you forgot that number one thing.
Been messing with my buttons in here.
I haven't touched a thing,
it
at least
is-
not today.
It is ESPN Asheville. This is the Sportsocracy, and we are live in the Ingles Studio on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We are heard everywhere around the world. Take us with you everywhere you go with the iHeart Radio app, and don't forget to join us on YouTube. See us live in the Ingles Studio on thesportsocracy.com. Click the live video link. Subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. We are just still counting down the days until the start of the NFL season. But first, college comes up in just 2 days.
Just 2 more
Bangers.
sleeps until there are bangers.
Jeremy's got he's been working hard, like all for the last 2 weeks, trying to give you the perfect picks to make you some money on this opening weekend of college football.
Well, I mean, I got to give you a reason to watch it because, frankly, the games leave a lot to be desired.
Navy and Notre Dame in Ireland.
Hey, Navy Notre Dame, that's the high water mark. Okay?
USC San Jose State. Whee!
That's only a 31-point spread.
Let's go. SJSU. Plus the 31 and a half.
Hawaii and Vanderbilt in a stadium that's not even close to done. That's one thing I'm looking forward to is Hawaii Vanderbilt being played in a construction site. That'll be just bangers.
Where is that being played?
Vanderbilt.
And their
Their stadium is under
stadium?
construction, and they went, no, you know what? We'll just play here anyway.
Well, let's be honest. They're not
nothing
going to
on
have
the
any
end zones.
fans that show up to it's not like they have to, really guard against the throngs of people that want to see Commodore football.
There's nothing on the end zones. It's just 2 gigantic construction sites on each end.
If you took Lionel Richie and the rest of the Commodores and gave them a football, I'd rather watch them play than Vanderbilt.
All night long.
Exactly.
All night.
At least it'd have some rhythm to it.
Lionel Richie, vastly underrated.
100%.
Love Lionel Richie.
100%. Anyway, we're excited. Football is approaching. We're going to continue today with our conference predictions.
Are you having another infarction?
I think I'm like preseason. There's stuff that we got to talk about.
You
and
weren't
like
struggling this bad
thing.
to talk when you were seeing a white light at the end of the tunnel.
Okay.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't fade out. Don't fade away. Yeah, we're going to give you our conference predictions, previews for the Big Ten and the Big 12 as we get you ramped up for week 0 in college football. Jeremy got really excited today because he got the he got the watch list for the Senior Bowl.
I did, and we're going to highlight some of those guys. It's a mock draft week, ladies and gentlemen. That'll be coming out Friday. A little flappetizer to your college football weekend. Give you a couple fellers to watch because the teams aren't great.
Once again, one of the never too early NFL mock drafts for 2024.
This one's going to be so much fun. I cannot wait for this draft class. This is like Monday was where I almost feel like the switch has been flipped on me, and it's okay. We got through the dregs, and we're ready to go. It's time. And I'm just hoping that at some point in the next few days, we flip that same switch with Chris Jones.
What's going to happen with that? Is he? I mean, he's saying he's going to hold out. He's ready to hold out until week 8 of this season. He wants more money. He wants Aaron Donald type money.
I don't know that he's getting Aaron Donald money.
Apparently, that's what he wants.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know, I want a lot of things, many of which cannot be said on the show.
I get it.
It doesn't mean you're going to get that. I mean, right now, the difference between 1 at defensive tackle, which is Aaron Donald, and 2, which is Quinnen Williams, is almost $8 million.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're going to touch that 31.6 that Aaron Donald's getting. But if it's split the difference,
I mean,
we get to 28. I don't know why Kansas City is blinking at this as much as they are.
Probably because he's not willing to be at 28. He wants number 1 money because PFF now says he's the number 1 defensive tackle in football.
And I struggle to believe that's where he's at.
I don't know.
I just don't buy it. Right now, he's the 8th highest paid defensive tackle in the league. He's at $20 million.
And he should be higher.
And we're chucking money out to all these guys. I understand what he's upset about. I don't believe that a 29-year-old defensive star like this in the middle of a Super Bowl window is hijacking all of these things because he needs to be the other overpaid defensive tackle. I just don't buy it.
I do.
I don't.
I buy it.
He's never been that guy.
I'm 29 years old, and it's time for me to get mine. And
well, I mean, he's gotten his. This is not like, oh, I got to get paid for the first time, which is what you got with Dexter Lawrence, Deron Payne, Jeffrey Simmons, Quinnen Williams. They had all been on rookie deals. Chris Jones has already gotten one bite at this apple. If that's what you're telling me is that he's got to be at 32, cool. You sit at home, and we'll talk later.
Mm-hmm.
And all of this is coming from things he said on Twitter that he put up some sign that basically said something to the effect of, I don't even remember now what the sign said, but it was basically a shot across the bow at Kansas City of I'll wait this out if I need to.
I mean, a fan asked him on Twitter, said, when are you coming back? Or how long are you prepared to hold out? And he simply replied, week 8.
The sign said, if it's out of your hands, it deserves freedom from your mind also. You've also got to remember, Chris Jones is the same guy that came out and said, I troll people on Twitter just because I can. So I'm sorry that I'm not taking everything that you say at full face value. I think it probably gets done before the season starts. I would say most likely you're going to see, I'll say it winds up at 28. I think 28 makes the most sense.
Okay. All right. I say give him whatever he wants. Because the more and more I've thought about it, I mean, Aaron Donald had a down year last year. He's getting older. Chris Jones he's the next. He's the next number 1. I mean, if he can continue to do what he did last year.
I just struggle to believe I'm going to give you that much more than Quinnen Williams. He's 5 years younger than you. He's every bit as disruptive. Yes, you've won Super Bowls. But the one I keep going back to is Patrick Mahomes. How am I not looking at this going, okay, you got me on a value, you got Kelsey on a value, we're not paying any of these receivers. How can you not get this done? I don't really get it. And look at how different that defense looks with him and without him.
Absolutely.
With how versatile he is.
He's the star. When this first came up, I can remember you saying, Jeremy, give him what he wants. Give him what he wants because this defense is not going anywhere without him. He's one of those cornerstone pieces that you need to make this work. Is that still a good team without him? Mish.
Defensively, who are you scared of? Charles Omenihu? George Karlaftis?
Pass rush-wise?
Yeah,
No,
nobody. Felix Anudike-Uzomah is a rookie.
You may be able to get home now and then, but you obviously are going to lack that punch that you need.
Well, I mean, without Chris Jones, now you're going Derek Nottie and Danny Shelton on the inside. You remember when we thought Danny Shelton was going to be like Vita Vea? He's not.
Right.
They're both big old biggins, and they both played at the same school, and that's the end of the comparisons between those two. I think you have to get it done. I think you have to get it done, and I don't really care what it costs.
And I think I'm with you, but reports say that that's what he wants. He wants the Aaron Donald money. He wants to be in that $30 million range. He wants to be record-breaking.
Hit your button.
Oh, we've got breaking news. There it is.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
Aaron Rodgers officially has one less receiver to throw to.
Aw.
Corey Davis has announced his retirement from the NFL.
Well, that's a little shocking.
For some time now, I've been contemplating stepping away from the sport of football. This decision's not been easy. Although I'm a deep person, I'm a man of few words. I've been searching my heart for what to do, and I feel that stepping away from the game is the best path for me at this time.
Interesting.
That is... Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think he was making the Jets anyway, and there have been rumors around him. He's been away from the team for a while with a family issue. And so I'm not as shocked by this as I think as some other people would be. I'm really not.
Well, I mean, with all the other things in New York happening, Corey Davis's name has not come up.
No.
Right? And so we're all focused on the bright lights and the Aaron Rodgers and the Super Bowls and all the things. And here's Corey Davis. Like I didn't even know that. I didn't even know he hadn't been with the team.
Yeah,
for a
he
while.
hasn't been with the team. If he's been with him in camp at all, I didn't know directly about it.
Does that affect anything you feel about this team?
No.
Like
I said, I didn't think he was making the team anyway.
Yeah.
He was $10.5 free $1 million. There was no guaranteed money left. And look, I love Corey Davis. I really do. And I hate that he's not going to be on the team. Like he said, he's a deeper cat than the average NFL receiver. I could easily see him going on to analyst work, and so I'm not as dumbfounded by this as a lot of people probably would be. But I look at the Jets now and go, oh, okay, so now you don't have Corey Davis. So you got Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, Mecole Hardman, Jason Brownlee, who I think is a dog, and 3 tight ends that I feel really good about. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, you didn't care anyway because y'all are going to run the ball, so it doesn't matter.
Well,
we don't need
now
receivers.
That's the part where this hurts, is that Corey Davis was an elite blocker.
Yeah, right.
But so is Alan Lazard. So, for me, good for Corey. I've always looked at guys like this that can walk away. He's, 29?
9 or 28.
Getting ready to be 29.
In January.
Yeah, I thought it was before the season ended. Good for you. You made your money. You made a lot from the Jets. You were one of the first guys that signed on in the Joe Douglas regime. I hold no ill will to you whatsoever.
Yeah.
If you've got other things going on, you take care of you. It doesn't change anything to me for the Jets. But it is a little shocking to see a receiver that's that good to have that much gas left in the tank.
I was going to say, he doesn't strike me as a guy who didn't have anything left to offer the game. Like, I don't know. I still kind of feel like he had really good football in him because I don't think we saw everything he could be. Injuries hampered him a lot in Tennessee and in New York. I don't think he really missed that many games, but he's another one of the...
He missed a lot of games.
Did he?
Never play. He only played one full season, and the one full season he had, he was real good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but he was one of those. He was one of those guys that will never get the credit. He was a top 5 pick. People always look at that and say he was a bit of a bust. No, he wasn't. He just does the things that don't help your fantasy team. I do believe it is. It does not helping the Jets, but like I said, I didn't think he was making the roster in the first place.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he still played like 12 games a year or something like that.
In the last 4 years, he's gone 13, 9, 14, 15.
Okay. So, I mean, he did miss games, but he never played the full season. And
by the way, can I just say this as a lifelong Jet fan? Hey, New York Jets, stop signing receivers. Because every time you do it, it ends super badly. You traded for Brandon Marshall. You signed Eric Decker. Mm-hmm. And you know what he brought us? His wife, which is why I consider that a win. She's still a Jet fan, and we love her in Jet Nation.
I was going to say, who was your last best free agent purchase at wide receiver?
Oh, good Lord.
Was that Wayne Corbett?
He was an undrafted free agent. He only ever played for us.
Oh, was he? Wait, I thought he spent some time in...
No, Wayne's a lifelong Jet.
Really?
And now he's a Jets analyst. We don't even put Wayne Corbett's name in with any other team.
I thought he was with one of them
Jet.
red, white, and blue teams for some reason.
No. He's a lifer Jet. Always will be. Just like me.
Nice.
But well wishes to Corey Davis. You will always have a place in our hearts. And now the rest of us are going to go win a Super Bowl. And we'll send you a ring.
He'll get at least a share of that, huh?
It's fine.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's Battle for the Belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football champion.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Attention, it's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingles Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingles Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match. Only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
To start the season, spray away stress. Get rid of grime. Clear the nerves. Do away with dirt and doubt. And lose the germs. For less worry and more wins. When you get to a clean slate, the possibilities are endless. Clorox. Start clean. Always use product as directed.
That's Mike, saying good morning. It's the best he can do right now. Yeah, not a cloud in the sky. What Mike could use is a fresh start. And Irish Spring Body Wash. The fresh scent of Irish Spring and those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset Mike needs. Now he's ready
to go to work.
It's Sunday. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring today.
The Sportsocracy.
The ceiling is the roof. Let's make it happen. Let's keep moving forward.
It is ESPN Asheville. You are in the Sportsocracy. We are seen live in the Ingles Studio on YouTube. And on the YouTube, we've got we got a super chat here that we got to get to from Armchair Commentary.
We got to make sure all the buttons are depressed for these.
Famously, the Canadan of the Mullet Man, Canadan, and Georgia fan fantasy football preview.
I mean, and at that level, I feel like he deserves to at least have one of those where the sound was turned up.
It's on.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Waiting on you.
Quiet. Oh, it's quiet. Got a lot of things happening around here.
A lot of buttons going on. He says, sorry to go off board. Jimmy G finished 16th in QBR last season ahead of a ton of quality quarterbacks, including Aaron Rodgers and others. Can we please stop the Jimmy is trash nonsense? He's a perfectly okay quarterback who's above average handsome.
Oh, he's a pretty man. There's no doubt. I mean, if I looked like Jimmy Garoppolo, I wouldn't own clothes. I'd just walk around like, you're welcome.
Good for you.
Was I telling any lies there? But it was perfectly timed because of what we were planning on talking about in this segment, which is we're halfway home, boys and girls.
Oh, my gosh.
We're halfway home.
He's not going to give it
We're
up.
halfway to the prophecy of the Moulet being fulfilled.
Sam Darnold has been named the backup quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. So Brock Purdy still the guy in San Francisco, but Trey Lance officially demoted to third string. I feel like we knew this was going to happen. Did we all not know that Trey Lance was going to be at the bottom of this
My Twitter mentions
pile?
would say no.
Okay.
And to what Armchair said, the thing that I feel like people are forgetting is that Jimmy Garoppolo is very Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins-y.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I think there's a difference between the two, but I would lump them together in where they fit in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this thought that, Brock Purdy will just be fine.
But no, you don't think he has the talent to be just fine. You think he's, what, Mac Jones?
Oh, I think Brock Purdy lies awake at night hoping to God that one day he wakes up and is as good as Mac Jones.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Jet fan just said that. And I'm telling you right now, we're halfway to my prognostication being fulfilled, and I don't think it's going to take all that long.
According to Ian Rappaport, the 49ers are exploring trade options for Trey Lance.
I'll give you $8.
Haven't you been? If you haven't been, I feel like that's just automatically another failure by John Lynch as the GM.
He's not a good GM. I don't know why that's so hard for people to wrap their brains around. He is a horrifically bad GM.
Because he's a Hall of Famer. And to me, we will never forget the fleecing at the time that we thought was going to be the first draft that he had when he traded down from 2 right? He traded down from 2
Yes.
to 3 with Chicago so they could get Mitch Trubisky.
Yeah, and he took Solomon Thomas.
Well, see, that didn't work out.
Yeah, he's a third-string defensive tackle for your Super Bowl champion, New York Jets.
He is indeed. He is indeed. And that didn't work out the way he wanted it to, but he ended up getting draft capital out of that, moving down and still getting the guy that he wanted. And then this team has been competitive despite the horrific, at times, showing in the draft. Because Trey Lance, I mean, to most GMs, that is what we've been told for years. That's a move that'll get you fired, right? But we're looking at 2 GMs that have now basically punted top 3 picks on quarterbacks, but their teams are still competitive, so they're not facing backlash from that. One of them is Joe Douglas, and one of them is John Lynch.
Well, I mean, Joe Douglas didn't have a quarterback. All right, Joe Douglas missed one thing. That was the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, yeah, you missed on Denzel Mims. A lot of people missed on second-round picks. I struggle to figure out what exactly John Lynch did right. Like, what is the thing he did that you go, oh, he got Fred Warner. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
If you play the lottery enough times, eventually you're going to hit $100 scratcher. And that's basically, John Lynch has spent $10,000 to hit that $100 scratch off.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't, you think I'm being stuck in my evaluation on Brock Purdy?
Yes.
That I'm stuck in what he was in
yes,
college?
That he can't be anything more than Mr. Irrelevant.
No, and I've never said that. I think he's a good NFL backup quarterback.
Okay.
I think he is a serviceable backup. If you watch Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy, it is abundantly clear to me which one's more talented. Now, the question is how long it takes Kyle Shanahan to figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is – all right, let me ask you a question. It'll kind of pair where I go with this next. Fact or fiction, Trey Lance is on another NFL roster week 1 of this year.
I would say fiction.
I will say hard fact. And
Really?
I won't be shocked if it happens before the end of the day.
Really?
You can't punt on this kid like this and think there's any coming back. There are certain times that you ain't putting the toothpaste back in the tube. You can't demote Trey Lance behind another failed top 5 quarterback and then just go, no, you're still our guy. All right, look at the Jets. Zach Wilson, he's the 2.
Mm-hmm.
He's the unquestioned 2.
But does it matter?
They still believe in him to a point.
But it doesn't matter what they get out of him?
I don't think so, because I don't know how you're supposed to every single week. This is one of those and maybe I'm giving John Lynch too much credit that he's smarter than he has appeared to be.
Mm-hmm.
Every single week when the 49ers go out on the field, if you're wrong on Brock Purdy and Trey Lance is standing on the sideline with a earpiece in his ear, that's going to get louder and louder and louder and louder every single week.
Mm-hmm.
Even Rappaport, when he put this out, said, I guarantee you Trey Lance is taking this hard because this is a signal of we don't believe in you at all.
Mm-hmm.
Name me a third-string quarterback in this league that anybody believes in. Even Jordan Love with the Packers, who we heard all kinds of things about. He wasn't 3. He was for a minute, but he wasn't in the 3rd year. If something happened to Aaron, Jordan Love was going to the game.
Absolutely.
They weren't going to turn to Tim Boyle. San Francisco's telling you we would turn to Sam Darnold.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think you have to move off of him.
Trey?
Yes.
Yes. I mean,
I don't care what you get back. You've already screwed this up.
Yeah.
You're not getting anything that's salvaging that.
Yeah, but if you turn around and you trade him 2 years later and end up getting a 5th-round pick out of him, I mean, would somebody give up a 3? Because I can't imagine anything higher than that. I'm talking about
He's a young kid with 2 years left on a rookie deal plus an option.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that every team that really needs a quarterback is going to be so bad that they're going to have the shot to do it next year. The one I've always come back to is Atlanta because he does fit that Atlanta system, I think, quite well.
Okay.
And I think Arthur Smith's a really good coach.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I can't find a spot. I don't know who would come off of anything for him unless you just have copious amounts of draft capital. I mean, do you?
No, I wouldn't give you anything. I mean,
I
if I was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I might give you a 4. Because I don't think anybody else is going to reach out and give you anything.
I would say Atlanta would happily meet your 4.
I don't let them have it. Because I don't know that I want the headache.
The unfortunate part is the team that should be doing this is the one that did it last year with Baker Mayfield. It's the Rams.
Yeah. But they have Stetson Bennett, so they don't need Trey Lance.
I hate the things you say, when you say them, and how you say them.
They already have a 2-time champion on their roster. They don't need anybody else.
Yeah, Tim Tebow is the same thing. Just throwing that out there. You're starting to sound like those Tim Tebow people who are like, he can play in the NFL, so we just give him a chance.
You know I just say it to get under your skin.
I know, and it works. It works, and it makes me angry.
Right. I don't know that this salvages anything. As long as this team is still competitive, I feel like John Lynch gets no repercussions from this, just like I feel that way about Joe Douglas. I mean, normally, yes, that would be something that would kill you.
But you're comparing two things that are apples and oranges. San Francisco's been good for an extended period of time.
For 4 years.
Well, I mean, they had there were some hiccup years. Because they hired Chip Kelly, and who was that other dude that looked like
Jim Tomsula?
That one.
Yeah.
The one that looked like he had a van that sat outside of middle schools and said weird things like, you know what I love about 18-year-old girls? I keep getting older. They stay the same age. Yes, they do.
He did.
Yes, they do. I mean, but do you credit the 49ers' resurgence to John Lynch?
I mean, he played a part in it.
What'd he do?
I mean, he came in 2017.
He drafted Bosa, who fell directly in his lap. Mm-hmm. The cup I'm drinking out of could have gone, hey, Nick Bosa's good at football. Maybe we should take him.
You don't give him any credit, though, for
I don't give John Lynch any credit for anything that's
bringing
happened
in Christian McCaffrey or
I don't think that
Javon
was the best.
Hargrave this year.
I don't think that was a great decision.
Really?
You paid top-end money for a running back when nobody else is doing that.
Yeah, but
wait till you see the compensation
last year with that.
Let me just tell you something that's been floated to me over the course of the day. Wait till you see the compensation on Jonathan Taylor and then compare it to Christian McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
Then we'll talk.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, one of them's been paid, one of them hasn't. I control the contract. If those two deals are equivalent, whoever gets Jonathan Taylor won. Okay. I didn't have to pay him $15 million, which at this point is stupid.
Well, I mean,
Barry Sanders could come out of prime retirement, fall in somebody's lap at 25 years old, and if you gave him $15 million a year, you're a moron.
In the last 4 years, I helped build a team. I helped put these guys together and put them on a roster that have been to 3 NFC championship games, won one of them, and been to a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but you're still not answering my question of what did he do? He took Deebo Samuel, who was
team.
He built the team.
He did. He's the friggin' GM. He signed off on every move that they did.
And his hit rate in the draft's 20% at best. You're comparing him to Joe Douglas, who may have had the best draft in NFL history a year ago, that took over the biggest dog water franchise in the league. San Francisco had a pretty good amount of talent. They just had Matthew McConaughey from Dazed and Confused and Fat Chip Kelly as the coach. Yeah, he hired – I don't even think he hired Kyle Shanahan, did he? He came the year after Kyle.
I don't remember.
I think he came the year after Kyle Shanahan.
Let me see.
So John Lynch is just one of those guys that, to me, you did a couple things that were – I mean, it's fine. But, I mean, I'm looking at his draft record going, you got a third-round pick that may not make – They came in
together.
He's got and just secret time on something that I've heard through league circles. He's got a third-round pick that may not make this roster from this year. That's hard to do.
Yeah, that's not good.
Cam Latu may not make this roster.
Really? Wow.
I mean, you're out here taking kickers in the third round.
At the end of the day, it all falls in your lap. But still, as long as you're competitive, you're not in danger of losing your job.
I don't agree with you. If San Francisco goes the way I think it's going to go this year, and it is abundantly clear to me that Seattle is better than them, they finish 2 or 3 games out of the division, you wind up as a wild card and then just get dusted in the playoffs, I don't see a path John Lynch comes back. Because I don't think it's going to fall on Kyle Shanahan. I don't think you understand how catastrophic a move this Trey Lance thing was, and that no other GM in the league would have done it. Do you remember when that trade happened?
Mm-hmm.
We were in the other studio. We used to have a studio that was down the street from where we are now that we did all of the YouTube things. And I remember just sitting there staring at my computer at the compensation going, what other team in the NFL would have done this? Not knowing who the quarterback is. Because you knew Trevor was going 1. The thought was that the Jets were taking Zach Wilson at 2, but we didn't know that yet.
Mm-hmm.
They hadn't even gone through his pro day yet. He just went, nope, I got to have a quarterback, so I'm going to give up everything. He made the Miami Dolphins in one trade. And there's no repercussions on that. Because, yeah, to me, you basically at this point have to give away Trey Lance for whatever you can get out of him.
Okay.
Because I don't think he can be on this roster sitting behind Sam Darnold and Brock Purdy, who next to me would look like a small child waiting on a middle school bus.
I mean, it is one of those things. It's like that. It's like that F that you got on your social studies test when you were in the 7th grade, and you didn't want to show mom and dad, so you just threw it away or shoved it in the back of a notebook where they wouldn't see it or something like that. Like that's what Trey Lance is now.
Well, it's easy to do that when you have a lot of A's.
Mm-hmm.
The problem is that I don't know what these A's are supposed to be for John Lynch. You hit on George Kittle, awesome. That's a hammer pick. You hit on Fred Warner. Other than that, what did you do that didn't just fall in your lap? Deebo Samuel was a first-round talent. He had injury issues. Mm-hmm. You were the one that fell on the grenade. That could just as easily have gone the other way. Nobody doubted the talent. You remember we did that draft together.
Mm-hmm. I
said this kid's dynamic and he is special, but he's made of popsicle sticks.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, it's been trades where you're giving up 100+% value to bring in a guy. This is one of the thinnest rosters in the league. They go through another little injury spell like San Francisco wants to. I'm telling you right now, this team could go 6-11. It wouldn't shock me in the least. They have second-string players that don't belong in the NFL. Period. And that's John Lynch's fault. You always say you want to see it. I'm not telling you you're going to see it this year. I'm telling you you're going to see it in time.
The regression is coming for this team.
This team is built exactly like the Rams were. Exactly like they were. You have tapped out on the draft because John Lynch can't do it. That's why you wound up picking in the 3rd. Your first pick was in the 3rd round, and it was a safety. Then you took a kicker right behind that with compensatory picks. They're built the same way. You go through a Rams-level injury spell this year, take luck, because it won't go well for you.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville. When we come back for the break, it'll be time to get just a bit outside.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Heat is on for the late week forecast. Big heat high in the heart of the country, making a lot of weather headlines here this week across the U.S., and we've got some 90s in the valley tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, not far from that number today. 63 tonight, and then partly cloudy on Thursday, warm and humid with high temps up to 90 degrees. Feels like we've jumped back to summertime. Friday, Saturday, heart of summertime kind of readings, low 90s. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Off.
Off Clean Feel, so I can accessorize with studs and not with mosquitoes. I can wear my classic white crop and flag panel jeans and know that I'm covered with 8 hours of not sticky, fragrance-free protection. Get your pre-party protection on with Off Clean Feel. SC Johnson.
Check this out. Buy Disney and Pixar's Elemental, now on digital.
Welcome to Element City.
Be the first to watch Elemental at home.
Sounds like a challenge.
And fire up your movie collection.
It's gonna be big!
With bonus features available for the first time at home, including the Carl's Date short.
Fun, right?
And deleted scenes.
So cool!
Disney and Pixar's Elemental. Buy it now, only on digital. Rated PG. Bonus features not rated.
Fire! Fire!
Get back here!
BetOnline.net is your #1 source for all your sports wagering info with all the stats, news, scores, and matchups. Keep the latest game odds, live lines, and matchup reports at your fingertips. BetOnline.net has you covered for every event and sport this month. From baseball to golf to MMA to preseason football. BetOnline.net is the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info and to access your favorite casino and card games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there. And around there. And even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
It seems like we've already had weird news today as far as the sports world is concerned. I mean, Corey Davis retiring out of the blue, former first-round draft pick to the Tennessee Titans. By the way, I got a text message from my aunt who lives over in the Inca area, and she said that off of exit 33 earlier today at what looked like maybe the Hilton Garden Inn, there was a Tennessee Titans bus sitting in the parking lot. Not real sure what that's all about or where they could have been headed, because they were in Minnesota last week and they're playing, what was it? They're playing at home against somebody.
The Patriots.
Yeah, against the Patriots this week. It doesn't make any sense why they would be in Asheville, but just anyway.
Maybe they just wanted to see the Biltmore house.
Maybe so.
I mean, a lot of people do that. I'm not one of them, but apparently a lot of people do.
Maybe, or I don't know. Maybe they were on their way to Charlotte. Maybe some relief thing with Caleb Farley's incident. Maybe
could be.
I don't know. That's just a guess on my part. But anyway, it just seems strange that there would be a Tennessee Titans bus in Asheville for some reason today. I saw this and I had to. I think we should all just pool our money and see if we can come up with $1.15 million. I mean, we've all wanted to go to Vegas, right? Why wouldn't we want to have a house out in Vegas? There's a house that's gone on the market. It is a 6,000 square foot house in Las Vegas for only $1.15 million. So I feel like there's something wrong with it.
This thing was it's got a ghost.
Maybe I don't know.
There's a clown that haunts it.
77-year-old Pug Winkler has put his house on the market.
Never trust a grown man that goes by a nickname.
And the interesting part about the house is not just the low price for 6,000 square feet, but apparently it includes one of the world's largest, which is one of, I'd love to see the largest, collection of college football helmets. He has over 2,000 college football helmets that he's been collecting for over 50 years, and he has them on full display in this house. And I look, he's 77 years old. There's no way that I'm taking these helmets down because I've got them all affixed to the wall. It looks like one of the greatest man rooms of all time. And it's not just the man room either. Like, he's got them all over the ceiling, all over the walls. It's all decked out in sports memorabilia, the interior of this place. There's also a bathroom that has helmets all over the wall, and they're on the side of the tub. I don't know that I would want to take a bath with a bunch of football helmets sitting on the side of the tub. I mean, where am I going to lay my scotch, right? I mean, the ashtray and the scotch have got to go somewhere. I need some room on the side of the tub.
Your ashtray needs to be kept in a cupboard there, Angela. Your smoking days are over.
Well, that is true. I haven't had a bath since the surgery. I'm not supposed to submerge the wrist for another day or two.
Really?
Yeah, they told me not to submerge the wrist from where the needle went in for the stent. Anyhow, I did think it was very odd, though. You pull up the pictures here. I'm looking at the New York Post has all the pictures up. The most prominent helmet sitting on the side of the bathtub, the Western Carolina Catamounts. Let's go.
Indeed.
He's got, I mean, obviously he would have every college football helmet that's ever existed with over 2,000 of them, and they're on every surface of the house. But again, I need to know what's wrong with that structure.
Jonathan Welch in our YouTube comment said, Tank Spencer bought a house from Pug Swanson. Sounds like a junior high word problem for a math class. That deserves a building.
Pug Swanson.
My story is about Tennessee Titans rookie quarterback Will Levis. It has absolutely nothing to do with his prowess on a football field, although I am pretty confident he is the best quarterback on that roster. He's certainly better than Malik Willis, who played every snap of their last preseason game, and he is awful. You could tell me Malik Willis was playing NFL games blindfolded, and I'd believe it. I don't even think he looks sometimes.
Well, he's doing pretty well.
I don't even think he looks sometimes. He just goes, there's supposed to be a receiver out there somewhere. Let's do that. But Will Levis came to prominence in the draft season because he is a weird man when it comes to his condiment choices. Apparently he has a really big fondness for mayonnaise to the point of he puts in it his coffee.
Gross.
Well, now he has signed his first endorsement deal, and it's a lifetime contract with Hellmann's. And I take issue with this because if you are a great purveyor of the mayonnaise, you know that Hellmann's is not mayonnaise. It's salad dressing, and a gross one at that.
Mm-hmm.
We the mayonnaise purists, of which me and my clogged artery friend over there are both one. No, it's Dukes or it's nothing. It's Dukes or nothing.
Exactly.
In a pinch, if you're like stranded on a desert island, I'll settle for Kraft one time. And then you go to your local Ingles, low prices, love the savings, and you get some Dukes.
I'd rather eat the sand on the island. Put that on my sandwich.
It's Dukes or nothing.
Exactly.
I am disappointed. And you know what, Will? I'm not even mad at you. I'm just disappointed. Okay?
Do better.
You were supposed to be a great spokesperson for the mayonnaise, and you sold out to fictitious mayonnaise.
Well, I mean, he is from out west, right? So they don't have...
I don't remember where Will Levis is from, if I was being really honest.
I was thinking he was from out west somewhere.
I think he's from Pennsylvania, but Massachusetts.
Oh, so he's from up north. They don't have Dukes up north either.
Well,
so...
You know...
It's not his fault. See, he lives in the South now.
And Amazon it.
See, this is where his PR people screwed up. He lives in the South now, and he has to know that south of the Mason-Dixon line, we have Dukes down here.
Jekyll said he doesn't have mayo where he's at either. It's basically Hellmann's or Miracle Whip. He still prefers Hellmann's. And here's the thing. I'm going to tell you the same thing I would tell Will Levis. They make this beautiful thing. It's called Amazon. You can go on their website. It's Amazon.com. You can buy anything in the world. You could buy lovely condiments from all around the world.
I hear no lies.
And it'll be on your doorstep in 2 days or less. Mainly because drones and birds are working for Amazon. They've colluded. It's where we're at.
Yeah. Be better, Will Levis.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
I am.
I'm disappointed.
I'm angry. Also, if you want to be disappointed, you can be disappointed in one of your favorites from the draft a couple of years ago. The kid out of Ole Miss, Sam Williams.
He did crimes.
He's gotten in trouble once again as he playing for the Dallas Cowboys, and he has now been arrested on possession of a controlled substance and illegal carrying of a weapon. According to the Fort Worth Star-Telegram, wait a minute. How do you get an unlawful weapon charge in Texas?
Does that mean it wasn't loaded? That's the only way you're getting a gun charge. You literally, when you land in the Dallas airport, they go, "Welcome to Texas. Here's your gun." Root, and then they go Yosemite Sam and shoot it there.
It's a low-level felony in Texas.
The only gun charge you can catch in Texas is if you don't have one.
Okay, so I mean, maybe he got caught with marijuana and the gun, and so maybe that's where the illegality comes in. Of he had the gun while he had the marijuana. I don't know, because I just thought, I mean, hell, Texas is like the Wild West when it comes to guns, right? You can have everything short of an Uzi. And as long as you got a federal permit for the Uzi, all's good.
Now I will say, and I heard that when you told me this story earlier, I was stuck on what exactly is a gun charge in Texas. But now I'm stuck on something else. Mm-hmm. You know, all these Dallas Cowboy fans have told me that they are going back to the glory days of the 90s.
This ain't the way you want to go.
Sam Williams took that way too literally.
Yeah, this ain't it.
A Dallas Cowboy got arrested for doing crimes in Texas? I do declare, whatever will I do with myself? I cannot believe this injustice.
We really are taking this back to the early 90s. The Yankees suck, and they're in last place, and the Dallas Cowboys are getting arrested.
I'm telling you right now, if AOL makes a comeback, we're full on 90s. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Saved by the Bells next.
Let's go.
Saved by the Bells next.
ASL. You know. What up?
What up? It is the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. Coming up after the break, Jeremy, I'm going to have another set of picks for you. It's preseason awards time.
It's award season. I'm telling you, all you got to do, be a little patient, because we're this close. I can sense it in the air. We're coming to a time where there's going to be bangers on Mondays, and on Wednesdays, and Thursdays, and Fridays.
It's coming real soon. Stay tuned here on ESPN Asheville.
Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's Battle for the Belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football champion.
At Ingles, we're proud to sponsor area athletics at all levels. Whether we're building new fields for T-ball, celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. We're here for the fans. No one gets the dedication to the home team like you guys. And we've got all the sports you can handle. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match. Only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to ESPNAVL.com.
Spring in the South means the return of Atlanta Braves baseball.
There's a liner out towards center field. It will lay down. Here comes Ronald. Braves win it.
The 2023 Braves load up for another huge season.
The Braves play here on ESPN Asheville.
Crooked teeth may embarrass kids whose families can't afford braces. And trying to fix their teeth themselves can make things worse. Luckily, there's Donated Orthodontic Services, a program from the American Association of Orthodontists. For children and teens who qualify and are matched with a volunteer orthodontist, treatment can be life-changing and help them smile with confidence. Learn more at aaoinfo.org.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay, Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
The biannual blowout is just a week away, and we've got a lot of work to do.
Keenan's Rug Emporium is rolling out a Labor Day bonanza.
Have that flat weave shipment coming in.
He needs 10 new sales associates as the crowds loom large.
Someone run a stock check on all the Moroccan 8x10s?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
It's week 2 of the Buncombe County Game of the Week, and we've got a great matchup for you. Our first chance to check out the Reynolds Rockets as they host Shelby. The Lions are a perennial power. This should be a great matchup. Bojangles Countdown to Kickoff show starts at 7. On ESPN 1400, the Mountaineers of Tuscola hit the road for the first time this season to take on Polk. Cowboy John Roden and the gang will bring you the Mountaineer pregame show starting at 7. Sports Tank Friday gets us started at 6. The best high school football coverage is on News Radio 570, WWNC, and ESPN Asheville.
Coffee store closes on.
Get them the money.
Then when you get the money, you get the power. That watch costs more than your car. Then when you get the power, then you get the woman.
It's almost here. Just 2 more sleep still bangers. Okay, it's week 0. I'm having to get excited about this because I had to dig really deep to find ways to wager this week. But we still got a couple awards to give out before the NFL season starts. This is Green on Green, brought to you by Ingles Markets. Low prices, love the savings. We've gone through the coach. We've gone through the rookies of the year. Now we got to talk about offensive and defensive player of the year. These are the positions that don't get as much love because they're probably not going to win MVP. You'd have to be crazy good to win MVP as a defensive player. Nobody's doing that. Defensive player of the year comes down to 3 players for me. Micah Parsons, TJ Watt, Quinnen Williams. I know before any of you say it, you're a Jets fan. You just keep putting Jets in here. No, this is a team that's been awful for 100 years, it feels like. And now they're the most relevant team in the NFL. A lot of voters from New York. A lot of voters are Jets fans. That's why you got to keep throwing them in there. Micah Parsons plus 500. TJ Watt at plus 850, Quinnen Williams at plus 3,000. Quinn is the dart throw, just on the off chance that he does what he keeps saying he's going to do, and he goes over 20 sacks this year. That's a $100 dart throw to try to win $3,000. Between the 2 favorites, I love Micah Parsons, but I think that Pittsburgh Steelers defense is special, and this is the year that we really give TJ Watt his due. So that's my pick at plus 850. Offensive player of the year, that's a little more open. This is usually going to the best skill position player that does something absolutely crazy. Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. Chase is plus 1,100. Jefferson's plus 1,300. Let me give you a piece of advice. Just put $100 on both and take the profits at the end of the year because it's going to be one of the 2 of them because one of them is going to have a year that we haven't seen from a receiver in a long time. Take the advice or leave it. It's up to you. But I am the king of futures. For more, find us on all the social medias at the Sportsocracy. And as always, love the savings with Ingles. Love the winnings with me. Mull it out.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Heat is on for the late week forecast. Big heat high in the heart of the country, making a lot of weather headlines here this week across the U.S. And we've got some 90s in the valley tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, or not far from that number today. 63 tonight, and then partly cloudy on Thursday, warm and humid with high temps up to 90 degrees. Feels like we've jumped back to summertime. Friday, Saturday, heart of summertime kind of readings, low 90s. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has great prices on everything you need for back to school. Right now, a 24-pack of Crayola crayons and comp books are just 50 cents each, and select notebooks are just 35 cents each. In-store only. Offer ends 8/26, limit 30. School on, save on at Staples.
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either a Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, Medium Frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
chicken
a Frosty.
sandwich,
Dave's Single and a Frosty for me.
and a Frosty. Okay, who said Frosty and a Frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's, buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's, valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see.
depression won't show up on an eye chart, and you won't find PTSD by looking at a thermometer. Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment. Anxiety won't just go away under a bandage. If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, call 1-800-662-HELP for free and confidential information and treatment referral. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support.
Dog days of summer got your business needing help? Check out Indeed, an all-in-one hiring solution that makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 toward your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
It's week 2 of the Buncombe County Game of the Week, and we've got a great matchup for you. Our first chance to check out the Reynolds Rockets as they host Shelby. The Lions are a perennial power. This should be a great matchup. Bojangles Countdown to Kickoff show starts at 7. On ESPN 1400, the Mountaineers of Tuscola hit the road for the first time this season to take on Polk. Cowboy John Roten and the gang will bring you the Mountaineer pregame show starting at 7. Sports Tank Friday gets us started at 6. The best high school football coverage is on News Radio 570, WWNC, and ESPN Asheville.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart radio station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Sam Darnold's won the backup quarterback competition in San Francisco over Trey Lance. Darnold will back up starter Brock Purdy. Lance's future unclear. According to Chiefs coach Andy Reid, there's been no communication with star defensive tackle Chris Jones, who continues his holdout. Also said whatever happens, happens. The game goes on. He did add that Jones is a vital part of the organization. Jones hinting on social media he is willing to continue the holdout until week 8 because he can afford it. Canty and Carlin co-host Chris Canty.
This guy is one of the best defensive tackles in the National Football League. I mean, he's the only guy on the Chiefs defense that opposing offensive coordinators have to circle and say, we got to have a plan to deal with this dude. If you take Chris Jones off of that defense, they are mediocre at best.
Chris Canty on Greene. Baseball, Cubs, Tigers tied at 4, top 8. Chicago's 3.5 back of NL Central leading Milwaukee. Brewers trailed the Twins 5-3, top 6. Mariners winners of 8 in a row, down 3-0 to the White Sox, bottom 6. Seattle 1 game out of the AL West lead, holds the final AL wildcard spot.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen.
He's useless.
But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy, presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy Hour 2 here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, and we are seen everywhere in the Ingles studio on the Sportsocracy.com. Click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, join us in the chat. I'm just so angry right now because, look, we love all of our listeners, obviously, and we would never revoke any memberships to the House of Reprehensibles. I'm just going to say, those of you who are not doing Duke's Mayonnaise, you need to do better.
Duke's is awesome.
I mean, Nathaniel McQuirt said in the YouTube comments that he's a little behind on the stream, but he's been eating a turkey sandwich with Kraft mayo.
I
feel like you need to check yourself.
Well, I mean, Kraft is fine. It's not Duke's.
No,
Duke's is where the business is.
Duke's has the twang. It's like the cap says.
I have never read the cap on a Duke's mayonnaise.
It is the mayonnaise, and the fact that it only has I looked it up during the break as well. It only has a 6% share of the mayonnaise business in the United States. Is ridiculous.
How does that breakdown work?
Hellman's and Kraft are like,
well, that's because they're more readily available.
70% of the market.
That's because they're more readily available.
That's what I would say. But I was corrected also. Stephen Tao said they have Duke's up north.
Duke's pays us zero money.
No.
This is just...
If they wanted to, they could.
100%. And, I mean, I won't drink it, but he might. Well, not now. Heart attack.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Depends on how much money we're talking about. If we're talking generational money here, set my family up for the future.
Is it enough for another 3-day weekend laying in bed just hearing boop, boop?
Oh, no. That was the worst. That was the absolute worst. Just driving me out of my mind because not only in the hospital can you hear your own beeping, but you hear everyone else's beeping as well.
Yeah,
and everyone else's alarms going off.
That would drive me insane.
It was maddening. And I was only there for a full day, if you think about it. Like, I got into the hospital room at like 7 o'clock Friday night, spent all day Saturday there, and then I was gone by 9:30 on Sunday morning, which is phenomenal. And I don't feel like I've shouted them out enough, but HCA, Mission Hospital, people are talking smack about them. I had nothing but a good experience there. Every nurse I talked to, every doctor I talked to, the food was fantastic. I mean, for hospital food, it's heart-healthy diets. You know, you're not getting salt, but it's good food.
I don't use salt anyway.
Anyhow, I just felt like I needed to shout them out for that. They've been catching so much hell in the press. Anyway.
Tank picked up a political show, and now he's just picking up calls left and right.
Right. Just bring them on. Bring them on. Like Tua Tagovailoa, apparently he wants he might want a piece of Ryan Clark now. Ryan Clark talked mad smack about him on NFL Live, apparently, and he ain't none too happy because Ryan
did you
Clark.
Hear what he said?
Well, look, Tua Tagovailoa. Remember last year, obviously, he had all of the injury issues, the questions about his, size and how he was learning how to fall and all of that. Well, he also came back to camp thicker. All right? Well,
that's a way to say
Ryan
that.
Clark doesn't believe that Tua was planning on being that thick. He doesn't think he's been on a nutrition program that made him that thick. He thinks he's been laying around, honestly. He said, let me tell you what he wasn't doing. He wasn't in the gym. I'll bet you that. He might spend a lot of time in the tattoo parlor. He was not at the dinner table eating what the nutritionist had advised. He looks happy. He is thick. He's built like the girls working at Onyx right now, which is a strip club.
That is a gentleman's club. That first of all, I will give Ryan Clark credit. That's the first funny thing he's ever said in his entire life. So there is that.
It is edgy for NFL Live.
100%. Now,
Onyx is a strip club in Atlanta, by the way.
Yes,
and apparently not one of the good ones.
No, it is no. That's one. That's balling on a budget right there, boys and girls. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. We've all done it. Seen me do it. Anyway, here's where I'm at. I wanted Tua Tagovailoa to come back a little thicker anyway.
Mm-hmm, I did too.
Now, is he a little doughy? Sure. Anybody that's ever played sports, which I would assume Ryan Clark would already know this, you're going to lose some of the weight over the course of the season. You come in heavier than you are by the end of the year because you're doing athletic things and even keeping up your diet, you're going to shed some weight. And Tua basically said the same thing. I came in with the intention of being bigger in the hopes that it will help me stay healthy.
And he says he's been working out in the gym. And he's been hitting the heavier weights. That was all part of the plan, was to hit the heavier weights, come in thicker, and hopefully be a little bit more durable. I heard that genius Colin Cowherd going on a rant the other day about Tua Tagovailoa and how Tua Tagovailoa has never had size issues. And I went, excuse me? Are we thinking about the same person here? The guy who had his lower half broken in college and his upper half now broken in the NFL. That guy's never had size issues? No, he absolutely has. And that's why he came in and he did the work in the offseason to get thicker.
Well, the only thing... Look, I'm fully on Tua Tagovailoa's side here. Ryan Clark, it was funny.
Oh, absolutely.
But I understand why he has snapped back a little bit. The only thing I can't get behind Tua on is using that "keep my name out your mouth" Will Smith line. Can we retire that forever? Like, he says that one time at the Academy Awards and goes up and slaps Chris Rock, which, by the way, I still maintain. You know what? You want to be a baddest? Do that to somebody that's not 5'7", about $130.
Try that with The Rock or something.
100%. That's the best example you're going to give it.
Right.
You want to tell somebody keep your name out their mouth. You say it to The Rock, you have my respect.
Right.
Now, you're probably also going to be laying in that bed. Boop, boop, like Tank was.
But no, I mean, he went Big Willie style on a little teeny dude. Like, of course. You knew Chris Rock wasn't going to do anything.
I'm stuck on the disrespect that I feel like. Miami's the weirdest team in the NFL to me, because I feel like half of the populace and half of the media is underselling them, and the other half is overselling them.
Mm-hmm.
ESPN put out their power rankings, had them at 6. That's a little rich for me. But, I mean, they're still in top 10.
I was going to say, not far off.
Oh, I mean, 6 is high. 6 is high when you have the questions about your quarterback that you do. You also have questions about the back half because you went and got Jalen Ramsey and, weird. Won't be back till December. Xavier Howard, yeah, I've read that book, and I don't think you're going to like how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
But they're still really good. This is still a really prolific offense.
It is.
Can we stop talking about Jonathan Taylor of the Miami Dolphins, by the way?
Why?
It's dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb-dumb. The
Why?
dumb-dumb, the dumb-dumb.
Why?
You already have 3 running backs.
Yeah, but why wouldn't I want a good one? I mean, I'm not saying the other guys aren't good. I'm just saying, why wouldn't I want one of the best ones in the league?
Name me the last time any disciple of Kyle Shanahan put a ton of money into running back. Oh, wait. It never happened.
No, but now Kyle has Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
And that's working out just fine. So, I mean, if you're going down that path like we're going to run the ball, why would you not want Jonathan Taylor if he's available at the right price? I'm not saying they should mortgage the franchise or whatever to bring in Jonathan Taylor, but that's not something that I'm dismissing out of hand because of Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson.
And Devin A-Chain that you used your first selection in the draft on.
Yeah, but isn't he hurt?
I think they said he'd be ready for – he was out 2 weeks, I believe.
Okay, all right.
I think him and Abonaconda were on the – they were on the same timetable.
Yeah. I do remember hearing he hurt his shoulder in practice the other day, but he wasn't going to be out for a long time.
Well, I mean, look, we haven't talked about this, but I feel like Tua Tagovailoa has done all of the things correctly. And he might be on one of those Aaron Rodgers tours that we've talked about too.
Why not? I mean, the disrespect is great.
It is.
I mean,
it is, and look, they're going to be in shootouts. Look, I like Jalen Phillips too, but I'm looking around the rest of that defense going, good passing teams, of which there's 2 of those in your division and about 11 of them on your schedule. You're going to get into some shootouts. I mean, Armchair and I were talking about this on the fantasy show the other day. You could do worse than Tua Tagovailoa.
Absolutely.
I mean, I got to have a legit backup. I got to have somebody that I trust. That's a good place to tie Kirk Cousins.
I've done that in at least one league, waiting on a quarterback, getting Tua, and then immediately taking another one either the next round or the following round.
It's one of my favorite ways to go.
And because the upside is so huge with Tua. I've been defending him since he got into this league of like he's just not there yet. Like he's gonna grow into something. And for a smidge, we saw it last year. He had a hell of a year last year. If it had not been for the concussions and the missed time. If he can have a healthy season and the bulking up that he's done, I mean, there's no doubt that there's amazing life in that arm. There is talent between those ears, and he has all of the tools at his disposal to do it, right? As long as his front can keep him safe, which is the big question that I have about a couple of teams at the top of the AFC. With the Buffalo Bills, with your New York Jets.
No, my Jets are fine.
We'll see.
Mekhi Becton, right tackle 1. Let's go. That's fine. Weird. That went exactly how I told you it was going to go.
Sure. But, I mean, it's still unproven. We'll have to wait and see. But that is a question. But if they can keep him protected, and he's got 2 elite wide receivers, and he's got a hell of a running game behind him, and he's got a defense that is going to at least be able to stand in the way, right? I mean, they're not an elite defense. We don't think that they're top of the league. But Jalen Phillips is coming around as a pass rusher. Obviously, you got, well, not Jalen Ramsey. He's gone.
Until
December. But when they come back for the playoff push, that should be a threatening defense.
It's going to be a very prolific offense. Mike McDaniels gets all the love because, you know, he had dinner with Kyle Shanahan a whole bunch of times. I love that we switch this every 2 years. It was Sean McVay. Mm-hmm. Now it's Kyle Shanahan. Oh, you know him. You must be really smart. It was Bill Belichick for the better part of like a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Then we figured out, oh, wait, not all of these guys are smart. Sometimes they're twos.
Yeah. Next, it's going to be Dan Campbell. You just wait.
Yeah, I mean, I think both his guys get jobs, but not necessarily because of anything that he did. No. It's because they're both really, yeah.
Yeah, he hired well.
Yeah, Dan Campbell's best trait as a head coach, he looks at a guy and goes, hey, you're real good at this. Let me give you a bunch of money.
Yeah, see that wall? Run through it.
Yes, and you'll do it because I am a meathead. And that's not shade from me.
Best meathead in the league. Yeah, one of them anyway.
I was about to say.
One of them.
There's a few good
Are we
ones
doing
there.
that for the daily draft today? Are we?
What coaches that you want to – I mean, somebody just asked in the One Nation Underground asked if you'd take a punch in the mouth from Mike Tyson for $1 million.
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
Here's the thing. I got a head like a cinder block. So, I mean, look, I know it's Mike Tyson.
I don't, but I don't
No,
think,
you
I don't
bruise
think
like
you
a
could
peach.
I don't think you could damage my brain
No,
much more
you
than it
bruise like a
already
peach.
is.
I've always said, you get arrested, you need to start sharpening your toothbrush.
I've done a lot of crimes in my life. There ain't much coming out of that brain anyway. So
there you go.
Yeah, I would definitely take that punch. No, we got into this discussion earlier in the studio of coaches that you would take in a fight, like guys that you would back in a fight.
Robert Saleh, Mike Vrabel, and Dan Campbell. You can have anybody else you want. That's my three, and we're coming in like Ken and Ryu, just back to back. Look, who wants some?
Right. I'm definitely not standing up against that. Especially if you get all three of them. That wouldn't be fair.
Yes.
That wouldn't be fair. That's like an NFL goon squad of head coaches right there. It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. So Tua Tagovailoa gets likened to a, I guess, not so stellar strip club dancer.
Employee.
Yeah. That's a new one. Kudos for Ryan Clark for going edgy on NFL Live.
Also, don't be shocked if you get in the same room with each other and he full-on Will Smiths you.
Yeah, I think I'm with Tua on this one, though. Even though he did go, keep my name out your mouth. I'm on Tua's side on this one. Ryan, you overstepped. It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville.
This is your time-saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Patton Avenue is closed in both directions near Deaverview Road due to an accident. Check of the interstates. 26 westbound is slow between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound slow east of Long Shoals Road to Airport Road. 26 eastbound again stop and go east of Hendersonville Road, continuing towards Chimney Rock Road. Future 26 westbound delays near Broadway Street. Merriman Avenue northbound near Edgewood Road, traffic is slowing. Sweeten Creek Road southbound delays approaching the Blue Ridge Parkway. Near Inca Village, Sardis Road moving from Sand Hill Road to Pond Road is slow. I'm Lyndon Field with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples has great prices on everything you need for back to school. Right now, a 24-pack of Crayola crayons and comp books are just 50 cents each, and select notebooks are just 35 cents each. In-store only. Offer ends 8/26, limit 30. School on, save on at Staples.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there. And around there. And even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, Medium Frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
chicken
a Frosty.
sandwich,
Dave's single and a Frosty for me.
and a Frosty.
Okay, who said Frosty and a Frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's, valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
Freshness made easy with Febreze Small Spaces.
Want continuous freshness that fights odors with no batteries and no outlets? Try Febreze Small Spaces. Ah, but what's a small space? To answer that, we brought in our lawyer.
Small spaces include, but are not limited to, bathrooms, closets, laundry room, kid room, pet corners, man cave, she sheds, most nooks, and all crannies.
There you go. Febreze Small Spaces is the world's most convenient. Febreze Small Spaces is super convenient and never stops freshening for 45 days.
Mm-hmm.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Running a small business is no small task. At Home Trust Bank, we work hard to prepare businesses for whatever tomorrow may bring. Your dreams are our business, and we have local experts who can help you plan for a successful future. Dependable guidance you need, and service you'll appreciate. At Home Trust Bank, we take your small business banking personally. Visit your local Home Trust branch or anytime at htb.com. Member FDIC.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's Battle for the Belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football champion.
The Sportsocracy.
You were just dumping a bag of hammers.
Welcome back into the Sportsocracy. Don't forget, you can play fantasy football with us all season long. DFS style. Daily fantasy sports. We love to play. Well, Jeremy loves to play. I like to play, but I don't ever win at it. But, Jeremy really loves to play. And we know a lot of you really love to play. So the Battle for the Belt is back. 2 belts on the line this year. Our standard DFS contest, which was won by Michael Meadows last year. Doesn't even live in Beer City, but is crowned Beer City's best fantasy football player.
But the belt will be making an appearance here on Monday. And I've missed it. I hope it's missed me. Its brother will be making its appearance here in no time.
Right. We got a belt for the standard contest and a belt for the new Eliminator Challenge, which Jeremy has dug up from his devious brain as to where you can only use a player 3 times during the season. So adding that extra level to your DFS game. You can get into both contests for $75, $50 individually for the contest, and the proceeds from the Battle for the Belt, as they did last year, going to Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project.
Look, it's a cause we really believe in. It's a charitable thing. It's a fun thing over the course of the year. Stephen Towle had an idea of being able to change our show banner for anybody that was in it. I can get down with that. If you got a business or something, I'll throw it on top of the – we're like New England Patriot receivers. We're very slotty when it comes to charity.
Indeed. Go to thesportsocracy.com. All of the links are on the front page, or you can find them in the description of the YouTube video. College football begins next week, or excuse me, this week. We got week 0. It's not really,
which
we don't
is
really call it week 0
It's not even
anymore.
a number. That's how many matchups are really fun to watch, but I'll watch them all.
They lump this Saturday's games into week 1, apparently. Now,
yeah,
it's not week
stupid.
0 anymore.
Yeah, it's stupid. This is week 0, and none of these matchups are great. But I will have a UMass New Mexico State banger on Friday.
Can't wait for that one. Good Lord, that's toilet bowl material right there.
Florida International, Louisiana Tech. Ohio, San Diego State.
Ooh.
And then you got Navy, Notre Dame in Dublin.
There you go. There you go. He'll have the bangers coming up for you on Friday. USC taking part in that. And USC also in the news because Reggie Bush, he wants his Heisman Trophy back, but he also is now suing the NCAA for defamation.
I've never understood how we haven't gotten him his Heisman back.
Well,
did you watch the Johnny Manziel documentary? Did you walk away from that and go, you mean he still got his, right?
He did.
He didn't do anything Reggie Bush didn't do anything that's worse than that.
Yeah, and I guess it's just the Heisman Trophy Trust, like they are so tied to the NCAA that I guess they feel like as long as the record is vacated, as long as the title is vacated and the wins are vacated, then they had to take the trophy away from him. But you're an individual organization. Like at some point, I would hope that there would be people in charge of this that go, yeah, you know what? We'll give him a break. Because he was one of the most special college football players we've ever seen.
No doubt. I mean, it's straight up. It's just time. All right. You got the Manziel doc comes out. He's carrying around somebody else's piddle. Apparently the fourth string quarterback is the only reason he was passing drug tests.
Right.
And he completely fabricated that he came from oil money. I still cannot believe nobody caught on to that. Two things that in my life I will never understand. How did it take us so long to figure this out? Manti Te'o's girlfriend. How did we not pick up on that?
Yeah.
Catfishing, that's one thing. All right, you tell me I got catfished, I immediately in my head go, you're not real smart, are you? You're not performing any rocket surgeries anytime soon.
Why would we know that, though?
I had a full-on girlfriend. You ever seen her? No. You didn't have a girlfriend. All right? You had a pen pal.
We talked on the phone a lot.
Sweet.
Yeah, I don't know why we would have figured that out.
Well, I mean, the media on the whole, I mean, you remember how big he was that season. He was the other runner-up to Johnny Manziel the year he won the Heisman.
Right.
The other thing I can't figure out, how did we not know Johnny Manziel's family didn't have any money?
Because those closest to him just didn't speak out.
So nobody in his circle went, nope.
No,
because
they were all riding the train, right?
And not all of them. Somebody got left off that little money factory, and I can't believe they didn't go and say, "Hey, I got a story for you."
Everybody was on the Johnny football bandwagon.
I was in that house as a kid, and there was no Duke's mayonnaise in it.
I don't know. It didn't feel like it really lasted long enough to have somebody turn on him.
It lasted 2 full years.
Yeah, but he came into question. What, halfway through the second season?
Well, he came into question, and then we just went, nope, it's fine. He was signing autographs for charity, I'm sure.
Yeah. We all knew that wasn't happening.
I mean, but now, look, I've always thought the vacating of records thing is really stupid.
Because we saw it happen.
I mean, the Bush push. Yeah. I lost a very economical sedan on that game, still angry. I can't even hear those words together without being ready to fight. But we saw the game. It happened.
Right.
Reggie Bush was one of the 5 most electric players I've ever seen in college football in the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
What is the reasoning for, well, he's the one, because the NCAA is going to lose this suit. I feel very sure of it.
Why? Because the rules have changed now?
No, because why did we pick you out? All right, just in my lifetime, you had the Trans A&M with Eric Dickerson, everything I just said with Johnny Manziel, the 2009 Florida Gators, who I'm telling you right now, you dig deep enough into that, somebody was catching some dollars somewhere.
Can't wait. I can't wait to watch
the documentary,
the Swamp Untold series.
I mean, is it going to tell you anything you didn't know?
I'm sure it will. Because that's just too rich. I've just waited too long to hear the inside story on what actually went down with that team.
I mean, I've had a lot of people have said, "Oh, I can't wait to watch it."
Yeah.
In my head, I'm just sitting here thinking, okay, what are they going to tell you? The sharpest thing about Aaron Hernandez was in his pocket. Boom.
Wow.
Yeah. Where was the lie?
Wow.
Where was the lie?
That's brutal.
Facts don't care about your feelings. It's the truth. And he may not have been the worst guy on that team from what I've been told. Hey, look, I saved you 4 episodes of listening to Urban Meyer.
No, I'm all the way in. I want to see it.
Hey, if it can facilitate getting Reggie Bush back his Heisman,
it won't.
It should,
because these are the same people, though, right? These are the same class of people that are in charge. The same class of people that's in charge of the NCAA is the same class of people, probably even worse, that's in charge of the Heisman Trust. I don't know this for a fact. I don't know even who's on the board, but I have to imagine that it's the crustiest of the upper crust. Wouldn't you think?
The Heisman, to me, the Heisman and the Masters have always been kind of together. Of you have to say things a very specific way. We don't have we don't have patrons.
It's the most baseball-y thing that football has.
Baseball that falls into the same thing.
Yeah, it's the most baseball thing that golf has. This is the thing that it's the Heisman Trophy. It's bigger than the game, right? I don't know that we'll ever get to that point where they will give it back willingly, unless the NCAA folds and says, okay, we're going to reinstate that title, but they're not going to do that. The NCAA is not going to come back this many years later and say, okay, we were wrong. Let's reinstate that title. Let's reinstate all those wins.
I have no faith in the NCAA. I'm just saying I'm one of a billion people right now that you should. It is the correct thing to do, whether you do it or not.
You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Heat is on for the late week forecast. Big heat high in the heart of the country, making a lot of weather headlines here this week across the U.S. And we've got some 90s in the valley tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, not far from that number today. 63 tonight. And then partly cloudy on Thursday, warm and humid with high temps up to 90 degrees. Feels like we've jumped back to summertime. Friday, Saturday, heart of summertime kind of readings, low 90s. I'm meteorologist Scott Larimore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is stopped on Patton Avenue north and southbound near Deaverview Road due to an accident. 26 westbound slow west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound slow between Long Shoals Road and Airport Road. In the Inca Village area, Sardis Road northbound stop and go between Bavard Road and Sand Hill Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. North Asheville, Merriman Avenue north and southbound at Edgewood Road, traffic is slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Score big on sleep and savings during Mattress Firm's best sale of the year. Save up to $700 on select Tempur-Pedic adjustable beds and get a $300 instant gift, good towards pillows and more.
Discover credit cards automatically double all the cash back you earn at the end of your first year, which means... Wait, hold up. Question for the audio engineer.
Go ahead.
Did I read that right? Discover automatically doubles all your cash back?
Yeah, that's what the script says.
So if I get a Discover card right now, I can earn twice the cash back.
Apparently. Wait! Unlimited first-year cash back match. Only from Discover. See terms and learn more at discover.com/match.
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either a Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, Medium Frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
chicken
a Frosty.
sandwich,
Dave's Single and a Frosty for me.
and a Frosty.
Okay, who said Frosty and a Frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's. Valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
Real estate isn't about properties, it's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, your native realtor serving all of Western North Carolina. I will work hard for you, and I believe in doing the right thing every time. I market each of my listings to reach out-of-town buyers. I use a professional photographer and drone video on every single listing, as well as collaborate with agents across the country to find your buyer. Check me out online at clarissasellswnc.com or give me a call at 828-774-6343. It would be my pleasure to assist you through the real estate process.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
And today on the weird news, it's another FAFO story.
Falafel around and find out
Exactly.
if you don't know what that means around here.
A couple of FAFO videos have been going around the social medias over the last 12 to 15 hours. One was in Georgia, where bunch of people running around in the middle of the street. Big black pickup truck comes barreling through, hits like 4 people. The Georgia state trooper pins his cruiser up against the driver's side door of the truck, pulls the guy out through his window, and arrests him on the hood/windshield of the police cruiser. Probably one of the most badass arrests I've ever seen. And he FAFO'd big time. So did these guys down in Dallas, where guy shows up to an apartment. He knocks on the door, and he says, hey, I'm with the maintenance company, and we are here to check the air filters in the apartment. And when he hit the doorbell, it was one of those Ring doorbells. And so the owner of the apartment, or the renter, is talking to him through the doorbell. And he was like, no, we don't need anybody to come check the filters. And he's like, no, they sent me to come check the air filters. We're doing that today. He's like, no, we don't need that. Nobody's home anyway. The guy's like, okay, and he goes to the next apartment. A little while later, the same guy comes back. This time, he's got a friend with him. And they take turns trying to kick down the door of this apartment because nobody's home. What's the guy going to do? So the guy's just speaking through the Ring doorbell saying, hey, go away. Nobody's home. You better give it up. Well, little did the crooks on the other side of the door know, the guy actually was home, and he was well armed. And about the 13th time his door got kicked in, he just opened fire through the door, firing blindly, and these two just scumbags take off running. Now, I'm going to, maybe some might feel this is cruel of me to say. I wish he'd have hit one of them. I mean, if you're going to screw around like that, then I wish the guy had been a better shot. But now the 2 men facing charges in it. Aaron Contreras, 30 years old, he was the guy who first showed up at the door. Dallas police, they've charged him. They responded to the scene, said they found 13 bullet casings that the guy fired through his front door.
That's a lot.
You
fawed.
Your check was cashed, and you got lucky.
You fawed, and you almost foed.
Absolutely.
My story is about one Napoleon Gonzalez of Etna, Maine. He was convicted last week. 1 count of identity theft, 2 counts of passport fraud, 2 counts of Social Security fraud, and 1 count of mail fraud. Well, the first very odd thing about Mr. Gonzalez, he is 86 years old.
Wow.
His crimes started in the mid-1960s when he assumed the identity of his dead brother. His brother died in 1939 as an infant. Well, apparently, records were none too good at that time.
Mm-hmm.
So in 1965, upon coming out of, Mr. Gonzalez was in the military, and according to him, he was told by the Secretary of State's office to assume a new identity for some kind of mission he was doing with the special ops or wherever he was. And he just never changed. So he came back, and he became his brother, which all of that went hunky-dunky until 2010, when the Social Security Administration started a inquiry into double benefits because he was himself and he was also his brother, and he was
double
trying to get benefits for both.
Right.
They upheld it and said he was fine. For 10 more years, he got away with this until what happened? 2 words, COVID.
Mm-hmm.
They did an audit of the system and went, he had not only is he the same person in the pictures, it's the same picture. They audited this, and I guess they thought they were twins.
Right.
There was no death certificate on file. Then all these things got digitized, and they went, oh,
yep.
Now, I tell this story to ask a question. Of all of the things that he was convicted of, which one carries the most aggressive prison sentence?
Forging documents.
You would think, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
That or identity theft.
That's like federal charges.
Mm-hmm. Oh, they're all federal charges. Mail fraud. Of all the things he did,
that's
that
a federal
carries,
charge too.
That's dumbfounding to me.
Mail fraud is the most heinous of the crimes.
This is another one like Johnny Manziel. Like, how did nobody go, oink? Didn't he die? He died. I feel like he died. I remember him dying.
It's not, well, nobody knew, right?
It's much easier to fake your own death and become other people than it should be.
That's all paperwork. It's a problem with government bureaucracy.
One of these days. Oh, yeah. And people wonder, why does Jeremy not trust the government? Here's example number 467,312.
I still feel like stealing the thousands of dollars in taxpayer funds would have been the worst of the crimes there.
One would think.
But no, apparently mail fraud is the one. All right, so the Jonathan Taylor saga continues.
As the Jonathan Taylor turns.
The Indianapolis Colts have now given him a deadline. They gave him permission to seek a trade, and now apparently he has a deadline of Tuesday to find a suitable trade, or we're not trading you and you have to show up.
Well,
I guess
there's several tentacles to this. Tuesday is cut down day. So every NFL team has to get down to 53 players. Right now, Jonathan Taylor is on the active PUP list.
Mm-hmm.
The active PUP list becomes not a thing anymore on Tuesday. So they have to make a decision. From what I have been told, if they don't trade him, they're putting him on the PUP list for the regular season. And he will sit out the first 4 games regardless. Whether we get to that point or not, I don't know. I do not know. But as of right now, according to Adam Schefter, 6 teams have gauged interest and 2 have made offers, which makes me think the Jonathan Taylor thing is going to be sewn up by the end of the week. But now the question is, where does he go and for what?
The question is, are the offers good enough? Are the offers good enough for the Colts to acquiesce his request?
I don't think we would have gotten this far if Indy didn't think they were going to get a formidable offer.
Mm-hmm. I told you yesterday, I feel like they will.
It's not going to be a 1.
No, but there will be a team that'll go 2-3-4 or a 2-3-5 or a package of picks that'll get them close to a value of a 1.
2-3-5 is a lot for a guy you're going to have to turn around and pay $12 million a year to as a running back.
Mm-hmm.
I have thought about this over the course of the day, and there's only a handful of teams that make sense. One of them is your Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
It still scares me.
The more I've thought about it, the more sense that makes.
It still scares me. It makes zero sense. There's no reason that you should do it, but it makes sense that my team would be the one to do something.
But you say that doesn't make sense. Why does it not make sense? He's a 24-year-old kid. You have much bigger fish to fry, and if you don't have to give up a first-round pick. Look, I made a TikTok out of me losing my mind yesterday going, please, God, give up first-round pick.
Okay, if we don't have to give up a first-round pick, then
nobody's giving up a first. That's dumb. There's a reason they keep putting commas in all these sentences. Nobody's giving up a first-round pick for a running back.
Right.
You won't do it for one you get on team control for 4 years. Teams won't take one in the first round. Why in the world would they trade one for the same thing?
Right.
But then as I've gone down the rabbit hole, I do see a couple teams that make, I will say, outside sense to me.
Okay.
The Dolphins are not one.
Okay.
Because they don't make a whole mess of sense to me. This feels like a Baltimore Ravens thing to do, does it not? I said yesterday, I don't get it, but this feels like a Baltimore Ravens thing to do. I'm going to go get an asset that I have not done the best job of drafting. Let's look, Baltimore's taken a lot of running backs, signed a lot of running backs, undrafted free agents. Not a lot of them have panned out.
Mm-hmm.
We can go get one right now, and I know exactly what it's going to be. Philadelphia Eagles. That's the team I said yesterday. This feels like a Philadelphia Eagle thing to do.
I can see Philadelphia doing it. I mean, do they have the money to make it work?
Well, I mean, he's not making much right now. He's not up for a new deal until next year.
Right.
So, I mean, in terms of making the money work, practically anybody can make the money work. He's just not making enough for that to be a problem. He's a second-round pick on a rookie deal.
Right.
So Philly makes sense, and then I resisted the urge to say this. The Dallas Cowboys make all the sense in the world.
Team him up with Tony Pollard. You go back to the 1-2 punch. If you're going to run the ball with Mike McCarthy.
Well, it's 1-2-3 punch because I still think Deuce Vaughn would have a role.
Yeah, but it would be very limited.
It's passing down role. That's exactly what he would have. He would become like a third down back that you try to just get him the ball in space and take away the fact he's so little.
Is this just a 1-2 year move, though?
I don't think so. Everything I've heard is that for this to be facilitated, they're going to have a minute to arrange the deal with Taylor. I think he's so dead set on getting out of Indianapolis, it might come cheaper than you think. He feels personally offended at this point.
Right.
Like the owner of the team went to the media and made me look like a clown.
Yes.
And I don't appreciate that. And I'm not going to play this lame duck year because, look, if he gets hurt again, you could be talking about him in a completely different mindset than you were talking about him now.
Oh, yeah. He has a devastating injury or something this year, God forbid, then he ends up being a running back in the $6-7 million range rather than being a running back in the $12 million range. So he's got a lot on the line.
I just can't get away because every team in the One Nation Underground said, there it is, because this has been a really popular topic today because it's hard. It's hard to figure out. All right, like the Chicago Bears, that one's been talked about a lot. Why would I do that? I have 3 running backs that I'm at least in some way invested in, and that wasn't including Tristan Ebner. Went out, signed Deontay Foreman, I drafted Khalil Herbert, I drafted Roschon Johnson. Why in the world would I invest more into another running back? I've already got a running back playing quarterback. It just so happens to be he's a running back with a really good arm.
Right.
For a running back, not for a quarterback. I mean, I've heard Carolina's not chasing Jonathan Taylor.
No. I wouldn't think so.
I would not think so. Minnesota makes no sense. This team's not good, and they know it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're telling you that they know it. And you just go down the league and go, man, there's not a lot of places this makes a lot of sense. Kansas City has invested in a running back one time, and it was probably the biggest mistake they've made in the last half decade.
Right.
They're not doing that again.
Yeah. It's the long-term deal. It's the security thing that gets me with Jonathan Taylor and where he could end up. I mean, if that's going to be a sticking point in the deal, then I don't know that that's a move that Philadelphia makes. I don't know that Philadelphia gives him a multi-year deal for $12 million a year or anywhere close to that. They don't have to, because it's all about what's going to make my team better.
Well, it's about are you in a title window, and does this give you even just a modicum of a better chance of winning a title? With Philadelphia, I've got two running backs that are made of popsicle sticks in Rashad Penny and DeAndre Swift.
Mm-hmm.
I will feel better with Jonathan Taylor. Washington Commanders, I'll be honest with you, that's another team that makes a ton of sense to me. You add that with Brian Robinson, now it's a 1-2 punch, and Antonio Gibson can go, sell car insurance or whatever it is he's supposed to do with his life. I know he's your little boyfriend, but he is not good at football.
Better than you.
I almost blew my quad running down the hall the other day. That ain't saying much.
Maybe you can go team up with Tony Pollard down in Dallas.
Oh, Antonio Gibson.
Yeah, Antonio Gibson. Go back and sit behind Tony Pollard again, like he did at Memphis.
And I guess that's just where I'm at. I look at Washington, I look at Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Dallas. And outside of that, there's not a lot of places that make a ton of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Especially this late.
West Virginia Willie says, to be fair, Kansas City did draft Clyde Edwards-Helaire over JT. Maybe they'll want to make up for that and bring him in and go, we screwed that one up.
Well, they drafted him over DeAndre Swift, too, and they didn't have even the vaguest bit of interest. I think Kansas City's figured out Pat Mahomes is so lethal, we just need a decisive running back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need you to be a game changer. Kansas City's got plenty of other issues. They're trying to dig out quarters from the couch cushion to figure out how to pay Chris Jones. So, and that's another part of it. And I think you got to think about that. What message does that send to Chris Jones if you go, hey, we're going to go get Jonathan Taylor and set his contract up? I don't care how much money it is. That's new money you're putting on your cap, right, which is basically just a Stone Cold Steve Austin double bird to Chris Jones.
Yeah, that's not a thing.
That's like walking through the forest and seeing a bee's nest. Bee's nest leaves you alone, and you just go, I'm going to hit that with that branch right there and see what happens.
I mean, I'll say it again. I said yesterday, I think Jonathan Taylor is a running back that can make your team better. I don't know how to quantify that into wins, but I would like Philadelphia a little bit better if they had Jonathan Taylor. I'd like Kansas City a little bit better if they had Jonathan Taylor. I'd like Miami a little bit better if they had Jonathan Taylor.
I mean, and I would too. It's just, for me, there's two paths.
But how desperate are you is the question.
There it is.
How desperate are you for a championship or for relevancy to make that move? Does Miami have to?
Well, I mean, just
think they do.
I don't, because I don't think that makes them a Super Bowl contender regardless. I've been very steadfast in that. I don't care what you do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you're winning a Super Bowl the way this team's constructed. Philadelphia, you could. Baltimore, you're tied to the long game. So, you've gone out and got Odell Beckham Jr., you drafted Rashad Bateman, you drafted Andrews years ago and paid him, you drafted Zay Flowers this year.
Mm-hmm.
The one position that you keep finding a way to boo-boo kitty is running back. I know you got 10 of them. Problem is, none of them are all that good. Jonathan Taylor's pretty good.
Right.
And this is like Howie Roseman 101. There are certain positions that every GM struggles to evaluate. I'll use myself as an example. Tank, you can attest to what I'm getting ready to say. I have historically been really good at quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends.
Yes.
You know what I've been historically bad at? Offensive linemen. You want to find a position that can dupe Jeremy really easily? Tackles. Tristan Wirfs. He only play right tackle. Oh, oops. Mekhi Becton, he's a Hall of Famer. Doops. Because these are big old boys, and I do not put enough into knee injuries and size and conditioning. Skill guys, that ain't that hard for me.
Right.
Howie Roseman, he's not always been great at drafting running backs. Wasn't always great at drafting wide receivers either. Why do you think he went and traded for A.J. Brown?
That's scary.
He missed on a slew of wide receivers over the years.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown comes up and he goes, It's worth it.
Yeah.
I'll give you a top 20 pick to go get a guy that I know what he is. I will pay him. and I will fill in the holes other places because I do a good job of drafting corners and linebackers. And I'm not sure that Baltimore and a couple other teams wouldn't feel the same way with Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah.
It makes sense. But that's what you've got to do. You got to make it make sense.
Yep. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic stopped on Patton Avenue north and southbound at Deaverview Road due to an accident. 26 eastbound is slow between Long Shoals Road and Airport Road. 26 westbound slow west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. In Inca Village, Sardis Road northbound between Bavard Road and Sand Hill Road delays. Sweeten Creek Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. North Asheville, Merriman Avenue northbound at Edgewood Road, traffic is slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Off.
Off Clean Feel, so I can accessorize with studs and not with mosquitoes. I can wear my classic white crop and flag panel jeans and know that I'm covered with 8 hours of not sticky, fragrance-free protection. Get your pre-party protection on with Off Clean Feel. SC Johnson.
Get ready to win your way to our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival and $1,000.
You'll be there.
T-Mobile Arena here in Las Vegas.
September 22nd and 23rd.
Streaming live only on Hulu.
The iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Having the time of your life is more rewarding than ever when you visit any MGM Rewards destination nationwide. Dine, stay, play, and earn on all of it. Details at MGMRewards.com. Subject to earning and redemption limitations applicable to certain purchases and in certain states.
It's bow time. The Bojangles made-from-scratch biscuit is so good, we gave it a sidekick. That's just as never frozen, just as fluffy, just as delicious. We call them the Buttermilk Beauties. Get 2 sausage and egg biscuits for just $5. It's bow time.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Our communities are filled with wonderful people who make living here great. At Home Trust Bank, we're proud of that. And that's why we focus on helping homeowners prepare for what's next. Our local mortgage bankers have the experience you need and exceptional personal service you'll appreciate. Home Trust Bank is ready to help make a house your home. When it's time to buy, visit your local Home Trust branch or go to htb.com/mortgage.
Attention, it's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingles Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingles Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Heat is on for the late week forecast. Big heat high in the heart of the country, making a lot of weather headlines here this week across the U.S. And we've got some 90s in the valley tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, not far from that number today. 63 tonight, and then partly cloudy on Thursday, warm and humid with high temps up to 90 degrees. Feels like we've jumped back to summertime. Friday, Saturday, heart of summertime kind of readings, low 90s. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic stopped on Patton Avenue north and southbound at Deaverview Road due to an accident. 26 eastbound is slow between Long Shoals Road and Airport Road. 26 westbound slow west of Airport Road to the Blue Ridge Parkway. In Inca Village, Sardis Road northbound between Brevard Road and Sand Hill Road delays. Sweeten Creek Road southbound slow between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. North Asheville, Merriman Avenue northbound at Edgewood Road, traffic is slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Fall into autumn hiring with Indeed. Their all-in-one solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and immediately get a short list of quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
Wendy's BOGO $1 deal is back at participating Wendy's. Buy a Dave single, spicy chicken sandwich, 10-piece nugs, or medium frosty, and get another for $1. Double your deliciousness. Hurry, this BOGO deal won't last.
Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's battle for the belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football champion.
From the Ingles Studios, this is ESPN Asheville, WPEK, W225CJ Fairview, WMXF Waynesville, and iHeart Radio Station.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. 6 teams have inquired about the availability of All-Pro running back Jonathan Taylor. 2 have engaged the Colts with actual trade offers, reports ESPN's Stephen Holder. The Colts have given Taylor a Tuesday deadline to find a suitable trade. Chiefs defensive tackle Chris Jones indicated on social media he's willing to continue his contract holdout until Week 8. Coach Andy Reid said today there's been no communication with Jones. No Jones for 8 weeks would be a big problem for KC. ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky.
It's Kansas City, and I know it's Patrick and Andy Reid. I'm not trying to disrespect them. If they don't have Chris for 8 games, they're going to be fighting to get into the playoffs. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to them. But it's also disrespectful to every other team in the AFC to think that they can be without their best defensive player for 8 potential games, and it won't have a drastic impact on their football team.
Sam Darnold won the 49ers backup quarterback competition over Trey Lance. He'll back up starter Brock Purdy. Lance's future unclear. Baseball, Mariners, winners of 8 straight, leading the White Sox 4-3 top 9. Seattle, a game out of the AL West lead.
How would you love a chance to save some money on car insurance? Geico can help. Switch today and see all the ways you could save with great rates and discounts. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com to get a rate quote and get started seeing how much you could save.
Now your chance at $1,000 and a trip to our 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival. Text the nationwide keyword LUCKY to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's LUCKY to 200-200.
He's a degenerate gambler.
You are a smelly pirate hooker.
And he's cheaper than oxygen. He's useless. But somehow, they make it work. Jeremy Greene, Tank Spencer. There's no holding back in the Sportsocracy. Presented by Ingles Supermarkets.
It is the Sportsocracy, and we are live in the Ingles studio on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We are heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel so you can join us in the chat. You want to subscribe today, so tomorrow you can be in on a Threadbare Thursday, as we do each and every Thursday during the football season. And yes, it is during the football season because week 0 is right around the corner. We got college football just pumping in the veins, ready to go.
Wednesday was good.
Well, I mean,
But it's
no.
here.
But that's the thing. Like you got to take this in baby steps, right? This is the little appetizer.
The appetizer?
Actually, it's not even like an appetizer. It's not really like an appetizer. It's like when you go to those seafood restaurants and they only put that little basket of crackers on the table, but you're so hungry that you've been waiting all day to just kill whatever seafood platter you're getting.
What are those crackers called?
Captain's wafers.
Oh, yeah. There's something about those. They just hit different.
They're just wonderful. I'm not
and
a fan
it might be
of...
because I'm starving every time I eat them. But.
Exactly.
I mean, it's not a chicken and a biscuit, which is that is the Rolls Royce of the cracker world.
No doubt.
I don't care if that dust on them is beaks and gizzards and feet. I don't care. It's awesome.
It's good, whatever it is. And so that's like the cracker basket on the table because there's nothing really of substance there. I mean, at least with apps, you could cobble together a couple of apps and have a full meal. You can't do that with the cracker basket. And you can't do that with week 0. Nobody's getting full on college football with week 0. This is just little samples to appease you until week 1 really kicks in next week. With all of that being said, we still have conference previews to get to over the coming days. We'll get to the Big X coming up here later on in this hour. We'll do the ACC tomorrow, Big 12 on Friday, or vice versa. Just depends on whichever way the wind blows us.
Yeah, and the Pac-12. Hey, USC. Pac-12 preview done.
Watch USC. So with USC being mentioned, today's daily draft, we're going to go Heisman Trophy winners. Who you got to win the Heisman Trophy this year? I had the number 1 pick yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, Tank came back off a heart attack, so, gave him the number 1 pick. Feel like it's my turn, and that's good because Caleb Williams is, without a doubt, the most obvious pick in the history of the daily draft.
Yes. I mean, you look at the USC Trojans, you know that Caleb Williams is going to throw up major stats in the Lincoln Riley offense. And who's going to stand in his way?
Their schedule's pathetic.
Who's going to keep him from doing whatever he wants to do on the football field?
Their schedule is absolutely pathetic. I mean, it's Notre Dame and not much else. You can be really rose-colored glasses on Oregon or whoever you want to. You're going to have to explain to me how they're going to score with USC.
Mm-hmm.
But the defense isn't good. It's better than it was last year. It's not saying much, but it's true. And that should be enough for me. I think they're going to coast. I think they coast. They wind up in the playoff. Caleb Williams wins the Heisman again, and then they probably meet Michigan and go, oh, defense. That's the thing that we don't have that. They do, a lot of it.
Yeah. I feel like that's I feel like it's a given that Caleb Williams should win the Heisman again. But I feel like we've done this so many times over the last 20 years. Or maybe not that long. I guess since Johnny. Since Johnny Manziel won it as a freshman in 2012.
Which came out of
absolutely
nowhere.
But we've had a couple of these instances where we go, well, an underclassman won it, and can he do it again? Can he win it back-to-back? And nobody's been able to do it. Still, the only one that's ever done it in history is Archie Griffin from Ohio State back in the 70s. But here it feels like a foregone conclusion. But there again, last year, it felt like, to me, Bryce Young was a foregone conclusion to win the Heisman again.
Yeah, that one didn't feel, with how many weapons he lost, that one didn't feel like a foregone to me. I had a sizable chunk on Caleb Williams, which
good for you.
That went okay. I also had a sizable chunk on USC to win the national title, which, that gave some of it back.
Mm-hmm.
But it all worked out in the end.
It all worked out in the end. You're right. Over 4,000 passing yards last year for Caleb Williams. And that was another quarterback that went for over 4,000 yards last year. Threw for 45 touchdowns as well. and had over 700 yards rushing, and is Drake May from the University of North Carolina. The problem Drake has is that team's not going to be good enough to win him a Heisman Trophy. Your team has to be in contention, right, for something to win a Heisman Trophy.
Can I ask you just a fun question? Active odds for the Heisman right now, where does Drake May fall?
3.
You're too high.
5.
You're still too high.
That's weird. That's weird to me.
He's tied for 7th with Michael Penix Jr., Sam Hartman, and Bo Nix.
Okay.
And I don't disagree with a word of it.
Really?
Nope. The same thing I said yesterday. I can't figure out how that team's supposed to be better with everything you've lost.
Mm-hmm.
And he finished 10th last year.
I
get it. He's a sophomore, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. You're held against that standard. So he's going to be better than he was last year with far inferior talent around him.
Mm-hmm. Chip Lindsey's offense is still high-flying, so they're still going to sling the ball a lot. So he'll put up big numbers again. You know, he may not have Josh Downs anymore. He may not have Antoine Greene. Both those guys are in the NFL now. But I still feel like he has pretty good talent on that team. And I think he should be higher than 7th on the watch list.
I can't. There's only 2 in front of him that I disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Carson Beck, who looks like Nick Kroll, and now that you've told me that, I can't unsee it.
He does. He doesn't look like Nick Kroll. He looks like the little guy on the Big Mouth series on Netflix. He looks like the kid with the overbite and the pimples all over his face. Yeah. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. I mean, you know, when you go down a path of, we've had really good quarterbacks, and they've all kind of been good-looking guys, you know, going back to Aaron Murray and Jake Fromm.
Yeah, Jake Fromm's where you kind of lose me.
No, he was a good
That
guy.
dude had eyebrows that I am telling you right now. You could have parked cars in between them things.
Yeah, he was whatever.
I mean, you go.
He was still a good-looking dude. Compared to Carson Beck, who looks like he could eat an apple through a fence.
Yeah.
He looked like he looked like the illegitimate child of Sarah Jessica Parker.
Look, I'm not gonna lie. Carson Beck makes you look like David Hasselhoff. So
I like that.
Yeah, I regretted saying that as I said. Please stop doing it.
Yes. I'm gonna just like Carson Beck's a goofy looking dude.
Yeah,
goofy looking dude.
I'm going to tell you, Carson Beck is not on my list. So you want
He's
to
not
save
on
him
my
for
list
last?
either.
You have at it.
He's not on my list either because I think if Georgia does roll again, it's gonna. There's no shot that he's getting the credit for that. Just like Stetson Bennett didn't get the credit for it last year. Although he was surprisingly a Heisman finalist, I thought that was one of the biggest surprises of the season. It's a quarterback award, and I want to go with a running back, but I'm not gonna. I'm gonna let you have it because I can't see a running back winning this award, and I think I'm gonna go with Quinn Ewers out of Texas because at some point that Steve Sarkisian offense that we have waxed poetic about for what feels like 15 years. Eventually, it's going to put up the big numbers, and Quinn will put up the big numbers.
I mean,
and
look,
this team is going to win a lot of games.
Quinn Ewers is a mulleted man, so you know I'm all aboard the mullet Heisman hype train. We need a mullet Heisman.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they put a mullet on the Heisman when they give it to him if he wins it. I will say he was not my 3, though.
Really?
He wasn't. Texas, and I love Texas. I'm heavily invested in Texas. I get why you did it. I just couldn't quite get there because I don't think Texas is going to be a national title contender.
Okay.
I could easily see them pulling the rug out from underneath me because I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I'm taking them against Alabama in week 2, and they pulled the rug out from underneath me just like they did last year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I had them against the number last year, which is going to be A little bit more difficult this year. I can't get there because is the running back you were talking about Blake Corum?
Yes.
He's not even on my list.
Really?
No.
Wow.
He's not even on my list.
Okay. Well, I'll take him later then.
Well, and the simple fact is because my fourth pick is J.J. McCarthy.
Okay.
Like you said, it's a quarterback award. And I'm not saying Blake Corum would have to be out of this world to win this.
He'd have to go over 25 touchdowns.
I would say at the minimum.
I mean, he had 19 last year. 1,500 plus yards.
And I think he finished 8th.
Yeah, 1,500 plus yards from scrimmage, 19 total touchdowns. He would have to have 25 touchdowns or more.
And he either finished 6th or 8th, and that was with Michigan making it to the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say a running back can't win it. You just have to do something that is absolutely out of this world. And I have to give as a matter of fact, 2 of them to Tim Raymond. He said whenever Tank flexes his arms, he looks like a Boston Market turkey. Gun show. When you spin like that, you look like you're on a rotisserie. That's points because that's fantastic. Now, I am not going to wait for the commercial as I usually do because for me, the 5th pick is very obvious. You got a button over there.
Oh, geez.
And you got a button. And there it is. There it is. My Heisman winner, your Heisman winner, Jordan Travis of the Florida State Seminoles. Look, they go 12-0. He's winning this award because they have to beat Clemson and LSU, and then Miami, which, yes, Miami is talented again, but how many times do we have to have that rug pulled out from underneath us before we go, 8-4, that's about what they do.
Right.
But you take the dip from national prominence, and then you're able to bring them back, and I got news for you. They got a ton of talent. Like you said, I got the Senior Bowl watch list. There are 2 teams in America that have more than Florida State on that list, and Georgia ain't one of them. Michigan ain't one of them. Ohio State ain't one of them. It's a deep team, and it's really talented.
Mm-hmm.
And I would be lying if I said I hadn't put a shekel or 2 on that.
Okay, all right. So Caleb Williams, J.J. McCarthy, and Jordan Travis are Jeremy's first 3 picks of Heisman watch list for 2023.
Just to be clear, that's also my 1, 2, 3.
Good for you. I got Drake May and Quinn Ewers.
That is my 4 and my 5.
We will continue the daily draft of potential Heisman winners coming up next here on ESPN Asheville.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow, 240 westbound between Shuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. 240 westbound, then stop and go between exit 3 and Amboy Road due to an accident. 26 westbound is slow between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound, light delays east of Long Shoals Road to Airport Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound, stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. In Polk County, 26 eastbound slow between West Mill Street and the South Carolina-North Carolina state line. I'm Lee Minfield with your Time Saver Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right, everything you earned doubled. The cash back from trips, restaurants, all doubled. Seriously, though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
Every day, you breathe in thousands of microscopic germs, allergens, and viruses. Don't let these invisible invaders make breathing through your nose impossible. Flush them out with Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril around the back of the nose and out the other nostril, helping flush out all the nasty things that make you miserable. Nearly 4 million people use Navage to breathe better, snore less, and feel healthier. People like Cindy, a verified Navage user who writes, "I've had such awful nasal congestion for the last couple years. I bought Navage and OMG, I can breathe again. I love this thing. Goodbye neti pot, hello Navage." End quote. If you suffer from sinus congestion, allergies, or snoring, then Navage is the safe, drug-free solution you've been looking for. Navage is at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and Navage.com. Navage. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there. And around there. And even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
Tired of getting dinged by monthly fees on your checking account? You need Simple Checking from Home Trust Bank. With Simple Checking, you get all the essential checking services for free, including 100% online access and a free Visa debit card. It's everything you need from a checking account, but no hoops, no surprises, no monthly fees. Stop by today or call 800-627-1632. Simple Checking at Home Trust. Ready for what's next. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Attention, it's time for the morning announcements. Make sure your parents are aware of the Ingles Tools for Schools program and ask them to link their Ingles Advantage card to our school. Remember, you have to do it each year. Now please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's Battle for the Belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football champion.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cott?
Back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, daily draft time. Talking Heisman candidates for the upcoming college football season. Week 0, just 3 days away.
Only 2 more sleeps till bangers.
Yeah, Jeremy's going to have all the betting picks for you on Friday for your Week 0 action. So far, Jeremy went number 1 pick, Caleb Williams, which is the only way that you can go. I took Drake May, and he goes J.J. McCarthy, quarterback from Michigan. I went Quinn Ewers from Texas, and then he returns with J.J. McCarthy and Jordan Travis from the Florida State Seminoles. Now, to me, that's the line of quarterbacks that can win this award.
Not for me.
It's the line for me because I don't see another quarterback that can vie for a national title. And if you're not vying for a national title, you're not in the college football playoff.
Just remember, the vying happens after the trophy. So when I give you 2 more quarterbacks, might be 3 depending on if we do an undrafted free agent.
Mm-hmm.
Just remember that you don't have to win it. You just have to be in competition for it.
Okay. Again, I don't see another quarterback in college football.
There's one that blows my mind that you don't.
That's going to be in the running for a national title.
Uh-huh.
No, it's not coming to me. Anyway,
I'll tell you momentarily.
However, I do hold out hope for position players. At some point,
are you about to say an offensive player?
No. I'm never going defensive player.
Okay.
After Ndamukong Suh didn't win the Heisman Trophy, there's never going to be one.
Okay, so you didn't go that stupid.
No.
So this must be a running back, which is I don't see it. But
you know who it is. It's the best player in college football, and it's not close. It's Brock Bowers. Let's go. Tight end of the Georgia Bulldogs. He's got vastly better chance to win the Heisman Trophy than anybody you're going to name.
Wait. Woohoo! There we go. Just I had to make sure I got Homer G. Simpson in there.
Brock Bowers. I mean, vast way outside shot.
I can't believe you're already to the point of taking way outside shots. Because Brock Bowers has absolutely no shot of winning this award.
Agreed. Again, it's a quarterback award, and if you don't play for a team that's going to be in contention, then you can't win it.
I just am trying to think of what Brock Bowers would have to do to even be on the podium.
Oh, he'd have to have over 1,000 yards receiving, like 1,200 yards receiving.
More. I think you've got to flirt with 1,520 receiving touchdowns. 15 touchdowns at least. At least. That's even to get on the podium.
Mm-hmm.
There's another pass catcher that I would have thought would have gone before that.
Would you think Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Is that your next pick?
Yes.
That's the one I was talking about.
That's the one.
Chad Ochocinco said he would never eat McDonald's again if he doesn't win the Heisman.
Well, that's
Which
all
is
he
saying
eats.
something because he eats it a lot and he owns 3 of them. I thought it was more than that. It's only 3 of them.
It's only 3 of them. Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. He's a phenomenal player, and he would have to put up massive stats to get that.
Which he's going to. And I don't care if it's Kyle McCord or Devin Brown. I really don't care who plays quarterback. You're going to put up ridiculous numbers.
Mm-hmm. The question is, will he have 68 to 75% of his quarterback stats? Because if he doesn't, then the quarterback's going to win it. Then it would be Kyle McCord. Ended up taking the award if he spread the ball around and still had great stats for Marvin Harrison Jr.
Well, I feel like this is great value to take the second most likely player to win the Heisman at 8.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm going to do with one, Jaden Daniels.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right. I guess. I guess.
Explain to me that sound.
What do his stats have to look like for LSU to, or for him to be a contender?
His stats have to look nothing like Brock Bowers or Marvin Harrison, because to me, you're missing that point again of quarterback on a team that hadn't been here in a minute. And I know there's nobody left from that LSU staff, roster, anything that was there with Joe Burrow.
Right.
You went through 2 real ugly, bleak years. And that schedule is just good enough that if LSU were to go 12-0, they're going to be the number 1 team in the country. Because I got news for you. You go 12-0, Georgia goes 12-0, you play each other in the SEC championship game, you're going in as the 2, and they're going in as the 1.
Really?
Because you ain't beat anybody.
No, that's true.
Do you know who they would have to beat to do that?
They will have beaten Alabama at least.
Florida State, Ole Miss, Alabama, Texas A&M, who are all ranked, and 3 of those 4 are on the road or on a neutral site. So, yeah, Jaden Daniels right now is plus 1,100 to win this award. I couldn't take him that high because you call me a homer, but I think Florida State's going to beat LSU in week 1, and that kind of derails everything. There's still an outside shot to get to the national title or to get to the playoff at the very least.
Right.
But I see how you do it. I understand how we got there.
Yeah, I guess I just don't – I'm not expecting Jaden Daniels to put up those kind of numbers.
I think he's going to put up video game numbers.
Really?
Playing for Brian Kelly, that team's talented. He looked markedly improved by the end of the year, and now he's had a full offseason to grow on that. Yeah, I can't sleep on him.
Okay.
Now, you said there wasn't another quarterback that had a path to the playoff.
Yep.
Well, you forgot one.
Okay.
Because let's just say that USC gets derailed. Who's going to do it?
You're not talking about Sam Hartman in Notre Dame.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about Michael Penix Jr. at Washington.
Stop that.
That team's insanely talented. insanely. Number 2
Okay.
receiver in the class, Romeo Duns. Straight up, and it's not particularly all that close.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're telling me they get into – so just take the journey with me. Let's say USC goes 11-1. Their one loss is to Washington.
Yep.
Washington gets them again in the Pac-12 title game.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Penix is going to be on stage. He's got to stay healthy, which is why I couldn't take him any higher because he already had one catastrophic injury. USC, the defense does still scare me. Doesn't scare me as much as it did because I think it's better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm grasping at straws, but this is my 5th pick. And he's the 7th most likely player to win this award, according to DraftKings right now.
Which is crazy to me because, I mean, I guess it's just that Pac-12 bias or the East Coast bias that I have.
It is, and
Because-
Kalen DeBoer is really good offensive
And
coach,
I get it. And I
they're
get it,
going
but
to
you-
score a ton of points.
And you can put up all the stats in the world, but I just don't. I don't see it. The Pac-12 is not great. Michael Penix Jr. puts up stats, and they have a loss. I don't even see him getting into the college football playoff.
Okay, well, here would be my question. If it's not USC, and in my hypothetical, they beat USC twice, who are they supposed to lose to?
Could be Oregon.
Good luck with that. It's in Washington. Bo Nix on the road. End the message, repeat the line.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about it.
Oh, and by
Nix
the
only
way, they
plays at
play
home.
USC in the Coliseum. That's going to be the ABC night game, and you dethrone the reigning Heisman Trophy winner.
Mm-hmm.
You said we do this every single year. It's because somebody beats them. Well, what if the guy that beats them is a contender too?
Maybe so. Maybe so. All right, final pick for me. And the Heisman Trophy possibilities. Oof. I'm going to go with Kyle McCord just because if Marvin Harrison's going to have that year, that gravy's going to spill over onto Kyle McCord's.
Unless he's not the starter.
I thought he was already named the starter.
Mm-mm. They still haven't named a quarterback, and to the point that Ryan Day said we might play them both in the first game.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And if that is
That's
the case,
why I couldn't
then
take
Ryan
an
Day
Ohio
is an
State
idiot.
quarterback. Well, I mean, look, basically they played dead heat throughout the entire spring.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Brown's been in the program one less year, and that's why Kyle McCord would have the theoretical advantage.
Right.
I can't take somebody that I don't even know that's the starter. I mean, I'm a projection guy. Don't get me wrong.
It's the best possible spot because that's the last one that I think has a chance to win a national title. But what about Bo Nix? Shut up.
Yeah, Bo Nix. Does he get to play all 12 games at home? Because if he doesn't, he ain't winning this award.
Yeah. You might, again, that's another one of those things. You might be able to put up great big stats in the Pac-12, but nobody cares. It's like scoring 52 points in a WNBA game. Nobody cares.
At Sports Tank ESPN.
Bingo.
He almost dies, and then it just comes in feisty.
Hey, you thought pre-heart attack Tank Spencer didn't have many to give?
Comes back spicy.
Yeah, just saying. All right, so are you going undrafted free agent
100%
here?
I am.
All right, who you got?
Sam Hartman.
Sam Hartman.
Quarterback that good. Notre Dame schedule that is not that good.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like by the end of last year that Marcus Freeman had really put his imprint on Notre Dame, and I could tell there was a difference.
Mm-hmm.
And then you lose Tommy Reese, and now it's a new offensive system. You have the new quarterback. Who is going to get the gravy off those taters? It's going to be Sam.
Yeah, my undrafted free agent will be Blake Corum, because he is the best running back in the in college football, and I think if Michigan's going to go all the way, they're going to win the Big Ten again. It's going to be on the strength of the running game. No slight to J.J. McCarthy. I like J.J.
I just think
but
McCarthy
they're not
takes
put up the stats.
My problem with Corum is that I think McCarthy takes stats away from him.
Maybe.
He's not going to be the only running back in the backfield. Mark Ingram, Derrick Henry type season to win this as a running back.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how he's supposed to do that.
Right. if you had to take a defensive player, which one are you taking?
I have to take a defensive player?
Let's both do this. Let's both plant our flags here. If we're doing defensive players, which one are you taking? To me, there's only two, so I get one.
All right, take yours first, because
Oh, that's not what I wanted. I'm gonna go with JT from Ohio State.
Tuimoloau. I can't.
Yeah.
We ain't far enough into the draft.
That's why I called him JT. Because that kid's just everywhere, and he has the potential to put up some big eye-popping stats with interceptions and fumble returns and sacks and all of those. Wow, I thought this would be easier than that.
Oh, there's two.
Okay.
Dallas Turner's who I think you are waiting for me to say.
That wasn't the one.
Jared Verse is the one I'm going to say.
No, that wasn't the one either. I was thinking Harold Perkins.
Sophomore linebacker. Good luck. I mean, he would have to be out of this world.
He'd have to like Mario Williams type sack.
He'd have to have 18 sacks as a linebacker that doesn't. That's not the only thing he does. I mean, I considered him, but you're going to have to break the NCAA sack record to be there. And to me, I could see a path that Dallas Turner does that because he is the best player on that defense. I see a path that Jared Verse does that because he's the best player on that defense, and I don't think one-on-one you can stop him.
Right.
So if I had to take one, it would I'm going to say Verse because I'm going to be a homer, but Dallas Turner was pretty close to.
All right, not too bad. ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. Yeah, Ohio State just doesn't have the offensive stars. JT Tuimoloau is a hell of an athlete on the defensive side of the ball, and Ohio State trying to do something that they haven't done in a while, which is beat Ole Michigan and Mr. Khaki Pants. We'll talk about the Big Ten coming up next here on ESPN Asheville, but first is going to be the most important message of the day.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Heat is on for the late week forecast. Big heat high in the heart of the country, making a lot of weather headlines here this week across the U.S. And we've got some 90s in the valley tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, or not far from that number today. 63 tonight, and then partly cloudy on Thursday, warm and humid with high temps up to 90 degrees. Feels like we've jumped back to summertime. Friday, Saturday, heart of summertime kind of readings, low 90s. I'm meteorologist Scott Lauriamore. That's the latest Weather Channel forecast.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic slow, 240 westbound between Shuns Cove Road and Montford Avenue. 240 westbound, then stop and go between exit 3 and Amboy Road due to an accident. 26 westbound is slow between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. 26 eastbound, light delays east of Long Shoals Road to Airport Road. Sweeten Creek Road southbound, stop and go between the Blue Ridge Parkway and Mills Gap Road. Near Avery Creek, Boulevard Road northbound approaching Long Shoals Road is slow. In Polk County, 26 eastbound slow between West Mills Street and the South Carolina-North Carolina state line.
This report is sponsored by Irish Spring, the fresh scent of Irish Spring. And those sensational Irish Spring suds are just the reset you need to own the day. Irish Spring. When the spring hits you, you're ready. Pick up Irish Spring at your local retailer today.
Gillette Intimate gives guys a gentle and easy shave on there. And around there. And even under there. Don't treat your groin like junk. Respect it with Gillette Intimate, the best a man can get. Buy now at a retailer near you.
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either a Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, Medium Frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
Chicken
a Frosty.
Sandwich,
Dave's Single and a Frosty for me.
and a Frosty. Okay, who said Frosty and a Frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's, buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's, valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
Listen to Comeback Stories. I'm Darren Waller. You might know me as a tight end for the New York Giants, or some of you might know me from my story of struggling with and beating addiction to become a Pro Bowl tight end. With me, I have my friend and co-host, Donnie Starkins, who is a yoga instructor and a personal development coach. A man fully invested in seeing people reach their fullest potential. Catch us every week on Comeback Stories on the iHeartRadio app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Rogue Combat Club, Asheville's home for comprehensive martial arts training, has a goal for our community, one that's stronger, more fit, and unwavers in its support of one another. Rogue Combat Club's instructors have competed at the highest levels and offer classes for everyone from young children to adults in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, and wrestling. Rogue Combat Club classes can help you boost your self-confidence and self-defense skills while weeding out the egos and intimidation found at other gyms. Join today at roguecombatclub.com.
I believe real estate isn't about properties. It's about people. I'm Clarissa Hyatt-Zach with eXp Realty, serving all of Western North Carolina. Navigating the home buying and selling journey can feel overwhelming at times, and that's why having an agent who cares about you and your needs is key. I'm a native of Western North Carolina, and I close over a home a week. I'm an expert in the market, pricing my sellers correctly to net you the most money, and working as a skilled negotiator for my buyers. Please give me a call today at 828-774-6343 to set up a complimentary market analysis.
For the most important message of the day.
Don't do crimes.
Don't do crimes. All right. Well, I made a mistake, and I told both of my crime stories at once last time, which was an error in judgment. But
did you?
I'm gonna let you take the spotlight on this one. I did. I boo-boo kidded.
All right.
Because I told the story about the truck and the guys that were trying to rob the apartment, and I shouldn't have done that.
Well, it works out fine because we got Big Ten previews.
That's right. That's right. We got to get into it.
My story. You ever heard the term porch pirate?
Yes.
Refers to somebody that steals packages off your porch.
Absolutely.
Have you ever heard a porch pirate that actually stole the porch?
No.
Because that is what a Georgia man did, and his name is Robin Swanger. He is charged with a felony after he stole the porch from a neighbor's front yard. It was an 8x10, full-size 8x10 porch, according to the Sheriff's Department investigator.
Okay.
Don't really know exactly how he did this. Apparently there had been some disputes. There was a no trespassing sign. All those things. He just decided, hey, that porch looks like it'd fit nice on my house, so I'm going to go get it.
Wow.
And he did. Took it to his house, which is exactly where they found it.
So he took it off one trailer and put it on his trailer.
That's how it, looking at this feller, I'm really trying not to cast aspersions. But he, in his mugshot, he has a sweet mullet. And he's wearing the cutoff, the sleeves. I'm gonna venture that feller doesn't live in what we would call the nice neighborhood.
I mean, it could be. It could be a nice trailer park.
Oh yeah, 100%.
But I don't think you could steal a porch off a brick and mortar house.
What do you think the value of an 8x10 porch is?
Oh, God, with the cost of lumber these days, $7.3 million. Thanks, Joe Biden.
$3,000. Good for you. There you go.
I double bail.
$3,000. He is charged with 2 counts of domestic violence, including battery, in addition to the felony theft charge. So apparently, this wasn't the only crimes that Mr. Swanger did that particular day.
No.
Don't do crimes.
I mean, that does take some big ones.
I just wonder how you do it. Like, I just show up and go, good, I like your porch, and I'm going to need it over here. Bill, Dave, will you come help me move his porch? He said I could have it.
One thing I have learned about living most of my life in Western North Carolina is never underestimate redneck ingenuity, right? They'll find a way.
Oh, 100%.
They'll find a way to get whatever they want. Stealing a porch, that's a new one, though. I got to give him points for creativity.
I mean, it's a lot cheaper and a lot easier than going to Lowe's. As like you said, lumber is expensive these days.
Indeed. All right, let's get into the Big Ten, our next conference preview here heading into the college football season. The Big Ten champion the last 2 years has been the Michigan Wolverines. And despite getting over the hump of beating Ohio State and representing the conference in the college football playoff, you've ended up with disappointments the last 2 years. Right? I mean, you lose to Georgia.
Although you pushed them to.
Of course, which is great. You know, Ohio State did the same thing the next year, pushed Georgia to the brink, but ended up losing. And then last year, inexplicably. I mean, after what we saw from TCU in the national championship against the Georgia Bulldogs, how did you lose that game? Like, that wasn't even a good run-stuffing team. No. And that's what your bread and butter.
Yeah.
And somehow you got beat by a team that got embarrassed in the national championship game. What was it, 65-7 or 63-7?
65-7 sounds right.
Something to that effect. It's not been the greatest of endings for the season, despite being able, like I said, to basically Jim Harbaugh save his job and beat Ohio State 2 years in a row.
By the way, just before we go into actually analyzing the teams here, do you buy into this theory that this is Jim Harbaugh's last year at Michigan?
No.
I don't either.
No.
And I don't know why this suspension is making people think that. I mean, he agreed to do 4 games, and then all right, well, how about we self-impose 3? Okay. Thanks, NCAA. You never fail to amaze me at the levels of stupidity that you can stoop to.
Right.
This is a 2-horse race. It's Ohio State. It's Michigan.
Yep.
And I'll take Michigan again.
I will.
Michigan's got.
I don't know.
Michigan's the more vet team.
I get it.
With a more vet quarterback, with a more vet playmaker.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know who Ohio State's quarterback is right now. Now, I think in this case, that means you have 2 that are really good. But I still can't take Ryan Day over Jim Harbaugh. I can't.
Yeah.
I also look at that Ohio State schedule and just go, is it that untoward to think that they could lose to somebody that's not named Michigan? Because you have to go into Ann Arbor and beat them, and I don't think you're doing that.
Yeah. I just don't – I don't know who that could be.
Notre Dame. I'll tell you exactly who. You got to go to Notre Dame. You got to go to Camp Randall. You got to go to Michigan. That's 3 losable games on the schedule.
Will that defense be that good to be able to hold Ohio State back? And will the offense of Notre Dame with Sam Hartman coming in be able to outscore them is my biggest question. And I think the answer to both of those is probably no.
Well, I thought going in that Notre Dame with Sam Hartman was going to be a headache for somebody because you're going to run that mesh point offense that Wake Forest has done. I feel like Sam Hartman got to Wake Forest about when I got out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's been there for 20 years. He's a real vet quarterback, and that's early in the season for Ohio State. And you talk about a jump in competition, they start with Indiana, Youngstown State, and Western Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go night game at Notre Dame. That's a significant jump.
It is. But you also, I also feel like those first 3 weeks will be, you don't really have to pour yourself into those games to win, right? They're already going to have a target on week 4 at the beginning. Right now, they're preaching about week 4.
No, and I agree with that. I would like to see some actual high-level competitive football that you play early on. I think you're going to blow the doors off all 3 teams you play.
If there's another team on their schedule that I could see them losing to,
it's Wisconsin.
It's Wisconsin. You got to go on the road to Wisconsin, and that's a tough place to play at Camp Randall. And I'm just going to say Wisconsin is my sneaky team in the Big Ten this year. Yes.
Is it only because of Fickle?
No, it's a combination of – I think they've built this team pretty well with the transfers that they've got in. They've got a couple of wide receivers that are decent. They went and got Tanner Mordecai.
They have talent for sure.
Right. He can sling the ball. They've got 2 really good running backs. Luke Fickell and Phil Longo, to me, their styles can jive. Luke Fickell wants to play the more air raid type of an offense, and we saw with North Carolina over the last few years, that's right in Phil Longo's wheelhouse, except for you don't necessarily see air raid teams lean on their running backs much, But that's exactly what Phil Longo did at North Carolina when he had Javonte Williams and Michael Carter. Those dudes set records in rushing while Sam Howell was throwing for massive yards and breaking Trevor Lawrence's records.
I think they actually just scored on Miami again.
Right.
I don't know how, but they're still scoring on Miami 3 years later.
Right. There are a lot of people that are off on this whole rebirth of Wisconsin football.
Well,
because
you're completely relaunching everything in the program.
Absolutely.
The offense is going to look completely different.
Mm-hmm.
The defense is going to look completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my point about Wisconsin. Who are they supposed to lose to?
Wisconsin?
They're my favorite over in college football. They play Buffalo, Washington State, who's so good they don't even have a conference. Georgia Southern, Purdue, Rutgers, Iowa, who could not score in a frat house with a pocket full of hundies. Illinois, who, they got some senior leadership. They still can't score.
Mm-hmm.
That game with Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana, Northwestern, Nebraska, Minnesota. That is the grossest, most god-awful schedule I think I've ever seen in my life.
It is.
They're the one team that I think can impede the Michigan-Ohio State thing.
Agreed.
Because the Big Ten's one of those conferences that's not doing divisions again, right?
No.
Or do they start that in a year?
I'm not real sure.
They've all done away
Let
with
me
divisions.
check.
It's just a question of, is this a year where – because they're still listed, but I don't think they necessarily mean anything. And if they do, they don't in a year.
They're still playing divisions this year, and then they're gone next year.
All right, then that means
when the additions come in.
That means Wisconsin wins the West, period. And I don't see anything that stops it. So you'll get Michigan or Ohio State against Wisconsin in the Big Ten title game.
Mm-hmm. And
I thought they had already done away with that, but I remember there was one conference that waited a year.
Yep. They are doing divisions again, and I don't know. I it's something about Wisconsin. You know me. I'm a sucker for Wisconsin.
You are. To me, with Michigan, there's not a whole lot to talk about. You didn't lose hardly anything.
Mm-mm. It kind of surprised me that Blake Corum didn't go pro, but he had a little injury issue at the end of the season.
He had an injury issue, and his pro prospects are. Looking at him as an NFL scout, him and Chase Brown have very similar trajectories. Chase Brown went in the 5th round. So if I can come back and potentially win a Heisman, potentially win a national title,
sure.
I wasn't as shocked by that as a lot of other people were.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's Michigan, Ohio State on a collision course. If either of them lose, I'm not going to say I'll be shocked because I think they both have losable games. But you're probably looking at 2 undefeated teams playing each other for a spot in the Big Ten title game.
Yeah.
Against Wisconsin. Now, the other team I really want to talk about, because everybody else seems to want to, and I don't get it, Penn State.
It's Penn State.
Sell me on this, because I can't figure it out. You got a new quarterback, Drew Ayler, that everybody seems to be just in love with. It's the 414th time I've seen Penn State do this.
Right.
And I get that you don't really play anybody, but you have to go to Ohio State, you have to play Michigan, and that's really enough for me. You're going to get obliterated twice. Okay, you go 10-2. And you lost to the only 2 good teams on your entire schedule, 110-6.
Just because you don't trust the offense?
I just don't look, the rest of the Big Ten, Ohio State has figured this out. Michigan is figuring this out to a point. They're still not to throw it all over the yard. Now Wisconsin's figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
You got Iowa and Penn State left that play this Big Ten brand of football. Awesome. When you go in against talented teams, don't be shocked when they shellac you. And I've done this enough times. I get that they're talented defensively. Your talent on defense cannot keep up with the 2 schools I just said. And if you told me they lost another one because they had a young quarterback, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah. To me, it's the running game for Penn State.
Singleton. I like Nicholas Singleton a lot.
Singleton and Katron Allen. That's going to be a hell of a 1-2 punch. Rivaling on Michigan's 1-2 punch for me. I don't know if they're going to be that effective. You do have one of the best tackles in all of college football in Olu Fashanu. you're going to be able to block. You're going to be able to run the ball. Singleton is he's a next level back to me in college football. I would think, hell, out of all the running backs in college football, probably three of the top 5 are in the Big Ten, between Singleton and Braylon Allen and Blake Corum.
I would agree with that. Is there anybody in this conference that can be even moderately surprising?
Other than Wisconsin? No.
Don't believe it all in Minnesota?
No, not real. I mean, it'll be fine, I guess. You'll come in and
they lost a lot.
You'll win 7-8 games, and you'll have a respectable season, go to a decent bowl, and yay.
I'm going to call my shot here early.
Okay.
Minnesota will come to Chapel Hill and beat North Carolina.
Ooh. Because
of
the defense?
Week 3, I think.
Because of the defense?
It's just a really well-coached team. Like, I've said this for years. I think P.J. Fleck's probably the most underrated coach in America.
Right.
And everybody's looking at what they lost. They're not looking at what they brought back. And, I mean, their line for wins is bowl eligibility. And they're at 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
P.J. Fleck has been bowl eligible in almost every year he's been a head coach. The other one that I feel like has to at least be talked about is Maryland. They lost a lot in the receiving corps. They lost both starting corners, who are now both starters in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
But man, they can score points.
They can.
They can score. They can't stop a nosebleed with a roll of paper towels. But man, they can score points.
Talia can still sling the ball. So, sure. Maybe they can be a surprise team. But what's a surprise team? Winning 8 games.
For me, the surprise with Maryland would be they're going to play somebody. It's going to be one of these big boys way closer than you think.
Mm-hmm.
Because they do every single year.
Right.
And now they'll let it slide there at the end, and then you just have to sit there and hope you're not about to catch a Scott Van Pelt bad beat. But it's just a completely different style.
Okay. Other than that, no. There's no one left really worth mentioning.
Well, I mean, I feel like you got to – I mean, we're in a Panther market, so I feel like you got to mention Nebraska with Matt Rule.
Take luck. Have fun.
Can they make a bowl game?
I don't know. Did they bring in any transfers that are worth anything?
A lot of them.
Okay. So 7 games. Let's go.
I don't know that they can win 7. I got to play Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, and you start at Minnesota and at Colorado. At the very least, you're going to be on television a good amount, and it's probably going to be them a lot, you a little.
Matt Rule's taken over a 4-win team. He's done it before.
And the first year, he stays exactly where he is.
But it takes 3 years. It takes 3 years for him to get there. That third year, right?
That's when he makes the jump.
That's when he makes the jump.
Every time.
So they're not competitive now, but they could be. Maybe Nebraska football's coming back.
Michigan State lost a lot. Their best player went to the Florida State University to form the greatest receiver tandem in all of college football.
Yeah, that big that big contract that they gave
Mel Tucker.
Mel Tucker.
Yeah, it's aging like milk, ain't it?
Yikes. He went 11-2. He cashed in with a $70 million contract, and they immediately went 4-8 or whatever it was last year.
And Iowa will average a solid 5 points a game. Let's go.
Wait, didn't they get a transfer quarterback?
Everybody got a transfer quarterback. Sorry, I haven't gotten my scorecard yet of where everybody landed.
I feel like it was
We've got one kid that went in the transfer portal 3 times. So until you put on a uniform and you get on a field,
right?
Unless I'm real sure you're there, I'm not chalking that up.
Yeah. You're in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. That'll do it for us for today. We'll be back with you tomorrow on a Threadbare Thursday at 3 o'clock.
This is your time saver traffic on the new ESPN Asheville.
Traffic is crawling 240 westbound between exit 4A and Amboy Road. Amboy Road westbound at I-26, very busy. The accident has the on-ramp to 240 west closed. 26 westbound delays between Long Shoals Road and the Blue Ridge Parkway. Sweeten Creek Road, north and southbound, approaching Mills Gap Road is slow. Merriman Avenue northbound near Beaver Dam Road, traffic is slow. Near Avery Creek Boulevard Road northbound, approaching Long Shoals Road, slow. I'm Lyndon Fuel with your Time Saver traffic.
This report is sponsored by Discover. Discover credit cards do something pretty awesome. At the end of your first year, they automatically double all the cash back you've earned. That's right, everything you earned doubled. The cash back from trips, restaurants, all doubled. Seriously, though, see terms and check it out for yourself at discover.com/match.
At Ingles, we're proud to sponsor area athletics at all levels. Whether we're building new fields for T-ball, celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park. We're here for the fans. No one gets the dedication to the home team like you guys. And we've got all the sports you can handle. It's all in the bag. Ingles. Low prices. Love the savings.
You'd do anything to keep your vehicle happy. Let's make sure it stays running smoothly. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, the right parts are just a click away. When you see the green check, you know that part will fit. Get the right parts at the right prices. ebaymotors.com. Let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WBNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WBNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WBNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Are you Beer City's best fantasy football player? Your chance to prove it is back. The Sportsocracy's Battle for the Belt is back for year 2 with 2 ways to win. Our standard contest and the new Eliminator Challenge for the most hardcore of football fans. Play fantasy football with us every week of the NFL season and compete for a cause with proceeds benefiting Eblen Charities St. Nicholas Project. Register today at thesportsocracy.com and take your shot at the title of Beer City's fantasy football